Hello guys, this is your friend, What If Sin Short Stories, and this is the What If Deku Didn't Care. Chapter 1 His Ashy POV. Surprising IKR. I sat down on the couch turning on the TV to watch the news of another villain attack. It was getting boring after one villain attack after another. Why couldn't they just report something more exciting than the same old crap, man? I got up to the kitchen to grab a pack of cigars from the cabinet. Hey, babe, after noticing my wife at the dinner table eating some katsudon as it is her favorite meal. Hi, Sashi, she said back to me. After grabbing my pack of cigarettes, I went over to her and gave her a peck on the lips. I'm going to be in the living room if you need anything. Alright, I probably don't need anything for a while though, thanks. I walked back to the living room, grabbing a lighter on the way, plopping myself on the couch lighting a cigar. Inhaling the smoke always gave me comfort. I never actually have to worry about my lungs, as cigars actually help me because of my quirk, fire breathing. I finished a couple more before closing the pack and setting it down to the mini table next to me, turning off the TV. I got up from the couch, walking to the kitchen for a snack. Inka was just finishing washing the dishes. She was drying off her hands with a towel. I went to the pantry to get a bag of Lay's chips. They're amazing. Snatching one from the second row and closing the door. Setting it down the small counter and grabbing a cup of water. I was thirsty basically all the time. Feeling the cold water slip down my throat. God, that feels amazing. Setting the cup down and grabbing the bag and opening it. Eating a few and asking Inka if she wants any. No, thanks. Alright, you're missing out though. Finishing the bag and throwing it in the trash then to drink all the water. Alright, I'm going to take a nap real quick. Just wake me up if you need anything. Alright, see ya. Walking out the kitchen and into my room, sliding myself into the bed and pulling the covers over me. I quickly find myself asleep. What the fuck was that? I screamed as I was rudely awakened by a blood-curdling scream coming from our apartment. I instantly get out of bed and run out in the living room to find the source of noise. I notice Inka on the couch with a face painting stress, holding her abdomen. What the fuck? Are you okay? What happened? I said quickly. I think my water broke. I instantly paled. I quickly ran to grab the keys and come back to get Inka. I picked her up, soothing her with words as we ran out to the car. We got in and we were definitely speeding, but I don't give a shit anymore. We made our way to the closest hospital. I got out of the car, opened the passenger door, picked up Inka and ran into the place. We need a room for my wife, her water broke. The girl at the counter grabbed her walkie-talkie. Get an emergency room ready and bring a bed down now. We have a pregnant woman at the front, her water broke. Thank you so much. You're welcome, but we need information about you guys, names, birth date, age, etc. My name is Hisashi Midoriya, my birthday is pound. My quirk is fire breathing. Her name is Inka Midoriya, July 4th 29, her quirk is attraction. Thank you. She was writing down the information on a clipboard. I heard the patter of feet and the rattling of the wheels at a fast speed coming down the hallways to us. I put her on the bed and they turned around and went down the section of all emergency rooms. They made their way to an empty room, setting her down in the bed. They threw a sheet covering her lower body. I grabbed her hand, rubbing the back of her hand, trying to calm her down, but failing miserably. She was gasping and shaking from the pain. Sir, I will have to escort you out of here till this matter is done. What? No, wait please, can't I stay? Sorry, no one can do it, it's the rules. Alright. Sounding defeated, walking out, sitting down in the chair closest to the room. What if there's a miscarriage? What if she dies? What if they both don't make it? What if it is a boy or girl? God, what if? These thoughts run around my head like a tornado. I sat in the chair closest to our room, bouncing my leg anxiously. The ticking of the clock drives me into insanity. How long does this take? Ugh. Looking at the clock, 12:32, Tuesday, July 15th. What the hell, it's a new day already. I hope she's okay. I sighed deeply. It's midnight, I should sleep right now, I'm tired as fuck. Slouching in the chair, trying to get comfortable, but failing once again. Closing my eyes once I got somewhat comfortable in the stale cold chair. Falling asleep once again. I hope I don't wake up with bad news again, waking up to the door opening right next to me. I look to my right to see the same nurse that kicked me out. It's Ashley, right? Yeah, that's me. Well, the operation is done. You're allowed in now. Alright, I'm coming. Getting up from the chair awkwardly and walking in to see Inka laying on the bed cuddling up our baby. It's a boy. Are you alright? Yeah, I'm good, Sashi. She said in a hoarse voice. Need water? I said simply. Yeah. I went to grab some water for her. Coming back to her handing it over. She drank the cup in a couple of gulps. I noticed our baby looking up at me. He had large bright green eyes and a diamond-shaped freckled pattern on each cheek under his eyes. He already had a small wave of green hair at the roots and black ends to my surprise. Sorry if it didn't add up or wasn't right. I've never experienced it, so I don't know how it works, so don't kill me over it. And I kinda just threw shit in it and hoped it turned out alright. So it was rushed. What should we name it? I said in a soft tone, not to scare the baby. I don't know myself. I said. Maybe Izuku Midoriya. She said in a questioning tone. Yeah, that sounds amazing. Izuku. I said back. How does that sound, Izuku? The baby giggled back at me. I guess he likes it, too. She said, sorry to interrupt your guys' moments, but she'll need to stay here and recover from the pain and stress for maybe a couple of days. Then we can let her go. The nurse said. I looked at a name tag, Mizuki. That is completely understandable, Mizuki. Thank you very much for your help. I appreciate it. It's no problem. Have a good night or morning. Whatever you prefer. Good night, miss. I went over and kissed Inka on the lips and whispered, I'm going to the store in the morning to grab the items and I will check back here when I am done. Alright. Cool, thanks. Okay, bye, Sashi, love you. I went out of the room to the front of the building, saying goodbye to the lady at the front. Walking to the car, turning it on. The time flashed up in my face, 2:21 a.m. Wow, that long, geez. Driving out the driveway, making our way to our apartment, muttering the lyrics to the song playing. Great song. Cherry wine, underrated, and one of my fav. Pulling up is the parking lot and walking to our room 228, opening up the door and walking in slouching. Man, that was stressful as fuck. I need some sleep. Walking to our bedroom, setting the alarm to 7:30 a.m. Hey, that's enough sleep, I guess. I'll just make it work. Laying on the bed exhausted. Staring at the plain tan roof, thinking of nonsense, falling asleep quickly. Beep. 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 Alright, damn, shut up already, I'm awake. I really hate alarms. Smacking the button, shutting it up, noticing the empty spot next to me. Where is she? Oh yeah. That happened. Getting up still tired as hell, basically dragging myself to the kitchen to grab a drink and cook a waffle. Finishing the meal, then remembering I need to get supplies for Izuku. I got up and went for the keys and wallet at the edge of the counter. Walking out the door, locking it behind me, looking at the door 229. I forgot to tell them about Izuku. The Bakugos would be happy. I'll tell them after I'm done. Got inside the car, leaving for the closest supermarket. Alright, that was quick. I went inside, looking down the many different aisles, quickly finding the baby section. I need a bottle, clothes, food, diapers, blankets, baby carrier, etc. I found them all along the section and put them into the cart, making the way to the self-checkout machine. Scanning the items, coming to a total of $146.28, swiping my debit card, daddy's money. Sheesh, through the machine and walking out the store. Throwing the items into the truck and driving out to the apartment. I made it back safe and sound for the first time without any actual casualties this time. Where should I put the bed? Maybe he could sleep with us instead for a bit till he gets older. Walking into the kitchen, putting the food and bottles away for later. Walking back into our room to put the clothes and diaper on top of the drawer, also for later, and the baby blankets and carriers at the corner of the room. Alright, I think that is all for now. I think I should tell the Bakugos about what happened. I haven't talked to them in a long time. I knocked on the door and Mitsuki opened the door with a surprised face when she saw me, and it turned into a concerned one because last time we talked it was something bad. Hello Hisashi, how are you? We haven't talked in a while, please come on in. Walking in, looking around, it didn't look that much different except for the occasional baby toys laying around. A couch facing an average-sized TV with a small desk to place drinks or food. A small kitchen with the dining table next to the door on its left. A small corridor with bathrooms and bedrooms along the space. I see Masaru playing with Katsuki on the couch. Masaru was tickling, I think that's how you spell it. Katsuki was laughing and gasping for breath, trying to get out of his hold. His spiky blonde hair pointing out in random directions and his bright rat eyes gleaming from the overhead light. I smiled surprisingly at myself. Is that how having a baby is? That doesn't seem that bad actually. They will be the best of friends. Completely forgetting that Mitsuki was there and what I came here for. I think I need to tell you guys, both of you and the kid also, about what happened lately. It's nothing bad, I said, reassuring them. Masaru, get over now. We have a visitor. Also bring Katsuki. Alright, coming. I saw him pick up Katsuki and they walked over. Masaru, noticed me and waved while smiling. Hey Masaru, how are you doing? Pretty good actually. But Katsuki here has been very loud lately. He muttered something I didn't hear, but apparently Mitsuki did and she was pissed. When he came over, I guess he didn't expect her to hear, but when he did, he got slapped on the back of his head. I looked at him, giving him a face of what did you say? He didn't respond though, but he did to Mitsuki. Alright, sorry, I didn't mean it, he said quickly. That's what I thought. She then looked at me. Sorry about that, please continue. I think you both need to sit down for this. Okay, Masaru said innocently, and also concerned according to his face. They both sat down with Katsuki sitting on Masaru's lap. Okay, lately, Inko had to go to the hospital for something, I said with a blank face. What happened? Is she okay? Mitsuki said to me, her voice laced with concern. She is fine, but she went in there because her water broke. It's a boy, I said carefully in case of their reaction, which I hoped wouldn't be too much to handle. Well, just as I thought, they were both cheering a second later. It's a boy. It's a boy, they chanted in unison. I noticed Katsuki looking at them like they were crazy. I stifled a laugh. You're getting a forever friend, you know, I said to Katsuki, but to my surprise he looked like he understood what I just said. He smiled. What's his name? Masaru said, still happy. Izuku Midoriya, I started calmly. Katsuki, you better get along with Izuku when you see him, okay? He hummed in response. Alright, I'm going to see Inko right now, bye. I walked out their door and went into the car. I drove to the hospital she was in. I walked to the front asking which room Inko Midoriya was in. Room 156. Thanks. I went down the hallway, stopping at the door. I knocked just in case, and there was a come-in I could recognize anywhere. I opened the door to see Inko laying on the bed with Izuku on her lap. Inko was already looking better than before, so that's a plus. How are you doing? I'm doing fine, Sashi, you don't have to worry. Okay. Dragging out the A at the end. I also want to say that the Bakugos now know about what happened. Oh, okay, how did they react? Excited, cheering and everything. She laughed. Yeah, they would react like that. I sat down on the chair next to her bed, looking out the window, just thinking random stuff again. Slowly drifting off into sleep. Why the fuck do I always end up with someone going to sleep? I literally just noticed this, third person POV, and new pet note. I'm probably not gonna do his POV again. Also time skip to Cinnamon Bun meeting Pomeranian puppy. Maybe like a couple of weeks. Well, it all happened at Midoriya's apartment, living room. No one expected it, but at least they got it on record. Well, today was that day. Izuku was finally gonna meet Katsuki for the first time, hooray. Izuku and his parents were playing in the living room, having the time of their lives, laughing, giggling, yelling. They got a knock on their door. Hisashi was the one to open it. Hisashi noticed Katsuki in Mitsuki's arm. Today. Yeah, today CMON. Alright, hold up, I have to record this. Come inside for now, just wait at the door. He left to grab his phone and came back already recording. Come to the living room, he's in there. They brought Katsuki into the living room, setting him down next to Izuku. Katsuki, meet Izuku. Be nice, alright? Mitsuki whispered the last part. Izuku, meet Katsuki. Inko said. Tekken. Izuku said loudly, confused. Everyone but Izuku and Katsuki were laughing loud as hell. Their neighbors were probably gonna file a noise complaint, but that was the worst of their worries. Katsuki, on the other hand, was mad. No, Katsuki, he said in a serious tone. I like Kekken better. Izuku said in defense. Kekken looked defeated but suddenly thought of a name for Izuku, expecting him to be mad in revenge. MPH, fine then, Zuzu. Katsuki said, expecting Zuzu to get mad, but I like it, Kekken. What? Katsuki looked defeated. Zuzu had Kekken. Kekken had back. All of them were wed, in unison. They are so cute together. I know, right? Can't wait till the future when they grow up. Masaru stopped his recording then, but his Ashi still kept recording, taking his sweet precious time recording the baby's first interaction with each other. The day ended soon later. The Bakugo sadly had to take Katsuki away from Izuku. Izuku didn't complain for too long though. The lights turned off from both of their apartments, signaling they were going to bed. Hearing the faint noise of crickets from the windows on the slightly busy streets in front of the apartment, they ended the day off pretty good. Damn, it was short WTF, and I did it again, them sleeping. Izuku Pev, finally the main character, no way. Note. Bakugo and Izuku are now both 3 years old. They are the best of friends and are basically inseparable. They do everything together. Kekken and I went to the same park we did every day after preschool, of course, with parental supervision. Mitsuki, Masaru, Bakugo, my parents trust them to look over us, so I get to hang out with Kekken all the time. The park was a beautiful place with a playground obviously, and a pond next to the woods. Today was a great day so far. I had a lot of fun during the arts and crafts at school today. I drew a house with trees in the background. Kekken drew a broccoli and said it was me. The park has bright green grass that looked like it was mowed recently. The playground was full of bustling kids running around having fun. The parents were sitting on the benches talking to one another, looking concentrated in the conversation. Some were laid back relaxing with things around her in their ears, others were sleeping. Some were pushing their kids on the swings. Mitsuki and Masaru sat down on a random bench that was open. I observed many quirks, for example, mutation quirks that either change your appearance or add an extra thing permanently to your body. Some were showing off their quirks to others. Also, for example, one was making a small rock float a couple inches off the ground. Telekinesis. Another one was they could stretch their arms and fingers out. MPH, that looks weird. How does that work? Like the bones? Do they stretch the muscles and stretch? Probably all of them. Called stretch, I think. I wonder what quirk I'm going to get. My parents always said I had a knack for analyzing people's quirks. And Kekken always said my mumbling was annoying since it was all about quirks. Quirks are basically superpowers, but said in a fancier way. Quirks are a will of anything in the world that usually benefit you in a certain thing/subject. Sometimes quirks pop up randomly when they're 3 or younger by accident, but it happens every time when they're 4 unless you have a mutation, which is when they're born. But that's not the point. When you turn 4, you go to the quirk facility to see if you have a quirk or not. Once you're there, you spin the wheel and congrats, you most likely have a quirk, but sometimes not everyone gets the chance and gets nothing. You're quirkles, no, but, or, anything like that, you just quirkles. From what I've seen online and stuff like that, being quirkles in a world full of quirks is basically impossible to live in without getting bullied, neglected, abandoned, depression, abused, suicide baited, and not trying to kill yourself at one point in your life. All the quirkles people I have seen are very old, as back then you had a higher chance of being quirkles. Being quirkles at today's point is less than 1% chance, which is very slim to the 99.9% of getting a quirk. It's not actually a wheel being spun to see how your future will be, it's just an example of how the quirk system works, in case you haven't seen the anime. Definitely recommend the anime. Shift, just don't get into the fan base. Cool. Katsuki yelled in my ear again extremely loud, gaining attention from others. They looked away quickly after. You gotta stop your mumbling. It's getting annoying having you blabber all the time and it's creepy. I guess I was mumbling about something again. Why can't I control that? Okay, I said, quickly calming him down. Come on, let's go to the place. He started running towards the place we always hang out. I ran after him into the woods. He was pretty quick, but I was able to catch up. We made it there after a bit of running. We were both resting, breathing heavily, trying to slow down our hearts. The place was beautiful, standing peacefully in its natural beauty. It had a pond next to a hill we usually jump off of into the pond that was kinda deep but not shallow enough to hurt us from the fall. The surrounding had many dark green trees with some apples and other fruits hanging off of the branches that we eat if we forget to bring food, which is every time, but that's our excuse. It had a small field that we played around in, doing whatever we could think of. We never actually got bored of the place, and I don't think I ever will. I plucked an apple from the nearest tree and threw it to Kekken, knowing he was hungry. Thanks, he muttered in response, almost not hearing him. He had the tendency to rarely show his appreciation to other people except my parents, his parents, and me. When he does show his appreciation, he means it. He gets that from his parents. He started to devour his apple, only leaving the middle part and stem. So, what do you want to do? I don't know. Talk about what quirks we are gonna get. Sure, why not? We both started making random theories about what we're gonna get and asked each other what quirk they wanted most and why. I honestly forgot what I wanted as I was thinking to myself. We got off topic pretty quickly and talked about the most random of things. I guess we lost track of time. It was getting dark out and we started heading out to his parents'. We ran through the woods back to where we came from, being mindful of where we were stepping so we didn't trip. We heard loud screams and the patter of feet in front of us, and we looked at each other, scared. What the fuck was that? He whispered. I don't know in language. I hope it's nothing bad. Are they okay? When we got there, it was like a ghost town from those Wild West movies, just without the you-know-what. We observed the area to see no one, not even his parents, which was scary as we were only 3, so we basically didn't know what we were doing. I would say it was a ghost town if it wasn't for the damn villain right in front of us in the middle of the park. If I were to be honest, he was pretty ugly. He had a mutation quirk to make him look like Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob SquarePants, but just more realistic and just plain disgusting. It was hard to even glance at him. I know that was harsh, but you know it's the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts, as many say, and I would even agree with that statement. I would never say that to his face. If I did, I would be asking for death from the Reaper himself. I glanced at Kekken, giving him a look of what did we do now? Knowing if we said anything that Crab would hear us and most likely kill us. We had a good way of communication without saying words. Kekken shrugged in response with a petrified look on his face. He never looked scared in real situations, but this was way different, and I was also scared out of my mind. I looked behind the tree. I was crouching behind the bark, slightly scraping the back of my shirt and sat sticking onto it, too. The crab guy was clicking his pinchers to get the clip and is looking around for people hiding or such from the looks of it. I observed him because I didn't when I first saw him. He had a light green shirt that looked like it might rip if he moved a bit, and darkish bluish or blackish pants that fit him surprisingly. His hands of course had huge pincers. WTF do I call these, because it sounds so bad, but his elbow was so skinny and wobbly. That's probably his weakness, joints. I looked at his knees and it was the same thing, skinny and wobbly. It could somewhat hold his weight, but maybe for an hour or two before it gave up on him. I yanked my head back before he could see me. I glanced with my eyes at Kekken, but he was completely zoned out in his own world, so he was no use. Well, crap, what do I do now? There's no hero to save us, no police, and no civilians to even call the police. So we're stuck. I grabbed a rock from below my feet and considered whether I should throw it in the opposite direction and hope he's dumb and blind at the same time to chase after the noise. This could mean life or death, but I have no other choice than to do it or wait it out, making our survival chances lower than it already is. He has probably all the time in the world considering heroes aren't out during this time. I gave my final look at this rock praying this would work. Please just please work out how I want this to. I turned my head to look at the crab to see his back to me. I threw the rock to the right side of me towards the other side of the woods. I instantly hid and waited for 1 second before looking back to see him walking towards the sound. I took this opportunity to get stupid Kekken from his trance. I grabbed both of his shoulders and shook as violently as I could. Kekken's eyes focused again. Out now, I whispered as he nodded. He got up quickly but silently, and we absolutely booked it to the left, going around the tree so it would block us from anybody seeing us. I guess we were too hopeful that it was gonna work perfectly, but of course something had to go wrong, and that was he heard us. I looked back to see him running fast towards trying to cut us off. He was surprisingly fast as he made it to us as we rounded the corner into the streets. I was in front of Kekken during this as I was faster at the time. He lunged forwards and was able to snatch Kekken's right arm and yank us backwards towards him. Kekken's scream pierced the air as I heard a loud pop come from his body. Damn it, his shoulder is probably dislocated now. I saw blood ooze out of his arm onto his pinchers and saw it dripping onto that ground. He had tears running down his face in an uneven stream. Fuck you, Mr. Crab looking ass, you money enjoying cunt. Kekken said just above a whisper. Mr. Crab looked very offended by this and put his other pincher hand into a spite-looking shape. You're gonna regret saying that, you little shit. He sent it flying towards his heart, intending to kill him, but I guess he forgot that I was still there. During the time I grabbed a huge rock, and just about when he started moving I slammed against his elbow that he was winding back. Oh. What the fuck? He let go of Kekken and grabbed his elbow in confusion and pain. Well, that arm is now useless. So that's good. Kekken fell to the ground, landing on his butt, holding his arm in pain, holding back a cry. I pushed Kekken back behind me to get him away from him, as he couldn't do much in this situation. I looked back at him to see him still holding his elbow. I used this opportunity to get behind him and kick him as hard as a 3-year-old can into the back of his knee. He stumbled to the ground, landing on the knee, hearing a satisfying crack emit from his body. He didn't get back up after that. I think that's all. I heard a useless arm and leg. I doubt he'll be able to get back up. I jogged back to Kekken asking if he could walk. He nodded slightly and got up. He leaned against me with his good arm wrapped around me. His other arm stood still against his side. It was awkwardly bent and it looked god-awful. His arm didn't seem as damaged as I thought it would be. Thankfully he wouldn't die of blood loss. We took a couple of random turns to make sure that Crab didn't know where we were, but that also meant we didn't know ourselves, so we messed up big time. At this point I was basically carrying Kekken, and I knew I had to stop soon somewhere. As we were walking down the street, I went down a dark, suspicious alley and went behind a dumpster and a couple of trash cans. The stench was absolutely horrible and made me want to puke, but I held it in. I set Kekken down beside me and sat down with him. I looked at his arm. The scratch stopped bleeding and now was dried, but his shoulder was still dislocated. Ugh, that's gonna suck to fix. I sighed deeply. Kekken was shivering from the chilly air. I never noticed it because I was just thinking the entire time. I sighed again and pulled Kekken towards me, basically spooning him, still being careful of his arm. He stopped shivering and laid back a bit, getting comfortable. Platonic love, don't you dare say shit. I laid back on the hard concrete, evidently knowing I would have a sore back and neck. I just stared at the moon until I fell asleep. I woke up with a jolt. I tried to move, but Kekken was still on me, accidentally waking him up. Then he tried to move, but failed miserably. He groaned and moaned, "I'm watching you. Stop moving, Kekken, you're gonna get hurt," I said. He silently nodded. I got up, stretching, listening to the audio cue of bones popping a lot actually. My back felt like crap and it was hard to move my neck before it hurt. I looked at the opening. It was slightly bright with the sun creeping before our eyes. Some cars flew past to go to work, and some people walked by. Some saw us but ignored it quickly, acting like nothing was there. Of course, letting the heroes do their job, like they ever do it. Said in the back of my mind, but pushing that thought away, just being hopeful. Kekken waved his good arm in front of my face and I zoned back into the world. CMON, let's go back home. Didn't I just tell you to stop moving? I started to get annoyed. Damn, how do I tell him? Ugh, I already quit in life. We walked out the alleyway into an unfamiliar street. Where the fuck did you bring us? He said, turning to me. I don't know, I just got away, and be thankful I saved you. He looked pissed but didn't say anything back. He randomly took a right, expecting me to follow him. Which I did. We just walked and walked past people, buildings, parks, fountains, schools, etc. I didn't know what time it was until we stopped at a random cafe. Going, I said in confusion. He didn't say anything again, and walked in. I was quick to follow him. When we got in, there was this amazing aroma and nice comforting vibe. I sat down in a beanbag next to Kekken. Why did you come in here? I asked him. I don't know honestly, it just felt right. I looked at him like he was crazy. I was bored, so I just looked at the people there that came in and went out. I soon got bored and started talking to Kekken, and I couldn't help but think, why us? Why not somebody else? What did we do? Why does everything have to be so unfair? A result we have many more to come. I trudged out the police station for the millionth time that day, just finishing another investigation and crime scene. Will that villains just chill out for once? I just need sleep. Don't we all? I let my hair loose as it fell in front of my face, not even caring if I look presentable. Coffee. Yeah, coffee. I'm literally dying from the inside out. I walked to the parking lot, trying to remember where my car was. I figured it out after a minute and got inside my black Mercedes and drove to the one and only cafe I liked. Not Starbucks, I got it from my husband, present Mick. The first time I went there, I asked for the blackest coffee with 7 shots of espresso, which was the bare minimum to get through half a day. And goddamn, that shit was amazing. I always went there, morning, lunch, snack, dinner, and for my night shift. My husband always says it is bad for me, but I won't die from coffee. Right? I could imagine the head titles from where I am right now. Underground hero, wrestler / Shota is always dies from having too much coffee. I internally laughed. I parked at the closest spot to the cafe. I got up and dragged myself to the place. When I got to the corner, I stood up straighter and pushed the hair back past my ears, keeping it in place. Looking somewhat approachable, I walked in, getting already used to the relaxing environment and quiet atmosphere. I observed people who were in their 2 little kids around 3 to 4 caught my eye. One has wild green hair and toxic green eyes, the other had blonde spiky hair and blood red eyes, but he was definitely in pain as he grimaced whenever he moved. I narrowed my eyes to see what was wrong with him and noticed his shoulder was dislocated. What the fuck? How did that happen? I looked at the other people there, but none looked remotely like them nor acknowledged them at all. Where are their parents? Damn it, coffee or the kids? I need coffee for energy, but the kid is hurt and looks like he just got jumped. Fuck it, the kids. I walked up to the kids. Hey, are you okay? I know that was a dumb question, but still. The blonde looked at Granny, then looked back at me and had the audacity to say, my parents said I shouldn't talk to strangers, less alone hobos. My jaw slacked and Greenly stifled a laugh. I quickly recovered. I'm not a hobo, I'm a hero. I started incredulously. Yeah right, keep dreaming mommy. You know it's not Halloween for a while. Blonde said. Granny was full on laughing now, causing people to stare at us. TCH, not again, that's what I get for being an underground hero. I grabbed my wallet and showed them my hero license because nobody believes me these days, but it was understandable. Granny was the one to talk this time. Well, he wasn't lying. Doesn't stop me from saying he's still hobo. I mean, you're not wrong this time. But I'm always right. Blonde argued. Granny raised an eyebrow at his statement. They were having a mental conversation with their eyes and making hand movements. So do you guys trust me? I said I was getting annoyed by them not ignoring me. Sure. It came out more skeptical from Granny. Besides, them hurt and were lost because of you, so what's the worst that can happen? Blonde said to Granny. Kidnapped, raped, tortured, sold, killed, drugged, mentally and physically traumatized, you know, the usual. Took me a minute to think this all out lel. What the fuck? Ain't you 3? You're not supposed to know this shit. You should playing with toys or hero and villain RP or whatever kids do these days. I decided not to question how he knew that, but kept that in mind that he somehow did know that. Okay, well come on, I'm not gonna wait cause I need my coffee, so the faster we finish the faster I get my coffee, I said sternly. They both got up and we walked to my car. Granny whistled quietly when he saw my car. I guess he was impressed. Fancy ass car. I heard Blonde mumble, I know right, guess that's the perks of being a hero. Granny said, agreeing with him. I got in the driver's seat while they got in the back. Buckled up, don't need y'all dying from a car crash. Okay, Granny said suspiciously. We drove along in an awkward silence, and it annoyed me, so I tried to start a conversation. So, what's you guys' names? I can't keep calling you Granny and Blondie. You never said Granny nor Blondie to us before, but my name is Izuku Midoriya and his name is Katsuki Bakugo. Izuku responded. It got awkward again. How did that happen? What? Said Katsuki, your shoulder. Oh, he looked at Izuku, expecting him to say it, which he did. So we're at a park, but a villain came and we got attacked and the villain dislocated Kepkin's shoulder. He definitely left out information, but it was the main idea, so I didn't push it. Well, the conversation ended there, so I turned up the music a couple of notches. The song was Lot of Me by Lil Tecca, absolute godly song, 101% recommend. I nodded my head to the beat, drifting off into my own world. So where are we going? Izuku said, snapping me back into the real world. I was dazed for a couple of seconds before explaining that we were going to the hospital. Why not the police station? Because he needs to get treated and we can get information about your parents so we can get them while he's being treated, so twice as efficient. Izuku nodded to my explanation. Katsuki was too busy looking out the window to care what we were saying. We made it to the hospital soon after. Alright, we're here. I turned the car off and got out of the car. I didn't wait for the kids, expecting them to follow me, which they did. I walked in with the kids on my tail. The person at the counter looked up and greeted us. The boy had brown eyes with a sharp nose, complementing his facial structure, and his black hair fell down his forehead. He had a bright smile, too. Hello, my name is Kishiyama. What can I do for you today? Kishiyama said in a sweet voice. This kid here got attacked by a villain and the guy dislocated his shoulder. I said blankly. Oh, that's so sad to hear, but we could get that fixed up really easily. He gave us directions to an empty room with a nurse in there. When you're in there, the nurse will ask for personal information. And you can go from there. Thank you. I followed the directions and ended up on door 228. Cough cough. I knocked on the door and was opened up by a woman that seemed to be in her mid-30s. She was pretty, but I'm gay and have a husband, so I didn't care at all. I walked in with the kids and she closed the door behind us. Okay, so I need info on injuries, parent, quirk, age, and date of birth and name. Bakugo, I said, pointing towards Bakugo, has a dislocated shoulder from a villain attack. I don't know their parents or date of birth. I know mine though. Wrestler, Shada Izawa, 30, November 8th. She was writing this down when I was talking. Izuku spoke up. My parents are Inko Midoriya and my dad isn't present. I'm 3. My date of birth is July 15th, and my name is Izuku Midoriya. She hummed in response and wrote it down. This is Katsuki Bakugo. His parents are Mitsuki and Masaru Bakugo. He's also 3. His date of birth is April 20th. Thank you very much, but I need their phone numbers to call them about where you guys are at. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. For my mom's phone number and for his it's. For his mom's phone number. Katsuki gave me a glare when I said his mom's phone number. I shrugged and didn't say anything. We were still standing while this was happening. Izuku sat down on the chair next to us while Katsuki sat on the bed hunched over. The woman contacted their parents and said they would be here soon. The woman stood up from her chair and walked over to Katsuki and did her magic, or whatever you call it. Katsuki's shoulder popped back into place quickly and painlessly from what I could tell. I was impressed. I was used to chilies. It to correct fucking chilies lel. Quirk where it just made the person who was being healed tired, but it was the other way around this time. The woman became droopy but stood up and walked to a cabinet and opened it, then grabbed an energy bar. She demolished it in seconds and ripping it open, she was already energized again. Why the fuck don't I have those? Katsuki was moving his shoulder in circles, getting used to it once again. Izuku was mumbling extremely fast and it honestly confused me. Katsuki rolled his eyes and yelled in Izuku's face to shut up. "Oh, yeah, sorry," he said quickly. Katsuki again rolled his eyes. I guess he's used to that happening. "How does your quirk work?" Izuku said curiously. The woman came to her senses. "Oh, my quirk is called altercation. I'm able to move people's body parts and mind to a certain extent. I can't rip people's limbs off, but I can move them freely and could choose either of them to feel pain or not. Also, I have to be like 5ft close for it to work." Izuku pulled out a notebook out of thin air. "What the fuck?" I thought. Why died, and I turned to Katsuki. "Is that his quirk?" He shrugged. "How would I know? He does it all the time, but I only see him do that certain notebook." "Okay, weird." The notebook was titled in Sharpie Hero Analyses Number 2. The notebook only seemed to be 200 to 300 pages long. He was scribbling and muttering ideas for how the quirk can be used in different situations. He had the other page that was completely filled with another quirk. I read some of the bullet points and goddamn, his analyses was one that could compare to a very skilled analyst. He's only 3 and could do that. I was jealous, but come on, to have that skill is something worth bragging about. The woman kept answering the rapid amount of questions coming from Izuku while he was writing it down at the same time. "Bitch, how the fuck? I thought I was good at multitasking, but he's on a different level. He would be an amazing hero," whispered in the back of his mind. I got up and went behind Izuku since I couldn't see what he was writing because it was blocked from my vision. Izuku didn't even notice I was there because he was really focused on his analyses. I casted a shadow over him which startled him and he stopped writing and looked up. He gave me a cheeky smile nervously and his pupils dilated because of that arc. "Cute. Alright, I'm getting off track. Your analysis is amazing, keep it up," I said out loud. "You'll be a great hero one day," I said quiet enough for only him to hear. He blushed profusely and looked back down, his hair blocked from seeing half of his face. I smiled amused, and walked back to my seat, sitting down and sinking down further. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. I sat still in the chair glaring at the clock as the time went by. When are the parents gonna show up? It now said 7:23 p.m. apostrophe. I grabbed my phone and called Mick. Ring ring ring, ring ring, Shotara. "Where the hell are you? You were supposed to be here at 7 o'clock. Mick screamed into the cell phone sounding like it was on speaker while it wasn't. I knew to put the phone away from my ear from experience and I was already prepared, but they weren't. Their heads snapped up alerted looking at me. Katsuki had a raised eyebrow. "Can you take him off speaker?" "Oh, about that, it's not on speaker," I said back. I saw Zook roll his eyes. I guess he was used to people yelling. Though that was kinda normal these days. Izuku went back to drawing in his notebook, and Katsuki sighed. "Tell me about, I gotta go through this shit every day." Nick was supposedly still yelling in the phone, but it was getting cut off most of the time, so it was kinda muffled. "Alright, calm down man, I got people next to me and you're being loud as F. Hell, I recovered myself when I heard a glare from the woman. I'm at the hospital, but I'm not the one who is hurt," I said as fast as I could, knowing he would scream even louder if that was even physically possible, asking if I'm okay or shit like that. "Oh okay, sorry," he said much quieter this time. Izuku muttered a quick thank you, and I gave him a nod in acknowledgement. "Oh big berry words, what happened?" I answered him in a quick summary, giving him the important events only. "Alright, bye. Bye." I hung up and put my phone back into my pocket. I soon heard very loud yelling coming from the hallway and I sat up alerted. Guess that's what being a hero does to you. It's an automatic response. The yelling came closer and closer till the door slammed open, appearing 2 women and men. The people in the doorway showed resemblance to Katsuki, with the woman have a hot short snappy temper and blonde spiky hair, though the guy seemed to be much chiller and well-mannered. He had brown hair, brown eyes, I think, and a sturdy build and stood at a height of 5'9", 1/2 2. Yes. It's my birthday finally, God. I'm now 12, doing my little dancey dance. Well, anyways, back to the story after my short time of fame. Quick little update of me not touching this in a week. Sorry, got lazy again. The other couple also showed resemblance to Azuki, with the woman having a slim body, with green hair going down to her shoulder blades, and also having green eyes, though it being a bit duller from most likely stress. The man standing beside her in the doorway had black hair with grey stormy eyes. Ain't of this at you. Get back into PJO right now. And a muscle build. He also stood at a 6'2" FT, slightly taller than me. Don't look half bad, not my type though, lol. The parents of Katsuki ran towards Katsuki, apologizing multiple times for leaving them, though Katsuki rolled his eyes, muttering about incompetent parents and leaving them to just almost die, though it was drowned out by them apologizing, but not enough for me to hear it. I chuckled softly to myself. The parents of Izuku came towards him, asking him if he was okay and about what happened. The woman, Inko, hugged Izuku tightly, like a bone-crushing hug. The man had a relieved sign, looked more relaxed. Both of the couples came up to me and thanked me for finding them and helping heal them. It was by accident, though Izuku over here did save Katsuki. I only brought them to a hospital and to you, I said, giving a wink to Izuku. He'd be a great hero one day. Cough cough, vigilante. Sorry, did I say something? Probably just a hairball, wink wink. They both went back to the kids and took it as it was my cue to leave. I got up silently and walked out of the hospital. I put my key into the ignition and started the car. As I drove the car back to our house, I couldn't help wondering if I would see them again. Wait, shit, I forgot about my fucking coffee. I slammed my head on the steering wheel and groaned. Any fucking way, I'm finally done with this part. This is literally one half of the words I have right now, which is 4,250, so eek how it is. Being honest, this was meant to be a cute little interaction in the woods between the both, like 1,000 words at most, but when I mean I have no fucking plot, I meant it. I switched literally everything up at the last moment. So hope you enjoyed this part, because you won't like the next. Laughing maniacally. Sorry, not sorry. Have a blue cookie. If eat where this came from, we're best of friends. Izuku POV once again. Inko in his Ashi's apartment, July 15th, 5:30 a.m. Ring, 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 rack, paper, scissors, shoot, paper, ha no one caught you lacking. Easy, this won't be the last anyways. I banged the alarm clock in excitement because, Roger, coming in hot, drum roll please. Thud thud thud, it's your bear's birthday. Yes. Finally, I'm now 4 and get to know what my quirk is. I knew what Kekin was, and it was sick. It was like explosions and looked like fireworks in the dark. His hands sweat nitroglycerin, and he uses it as his source of power. Being the absolute nerd that I am, I already figured out his costume and support gear, but let him decide his name. Now back to me. Of course, I already have ideas of what my quirk could be, and now I have a stronger version of mom's or dad's quirk, or a combination of both. Pyrokinesis, right? I could create fire or breathe fire at will and be able to control it. I'm really hoping for this. Or I would want a really good quirk that could be totally random. I was totally fine with an average quirk because that's what most civilians get. All I wanted was to be a hero. I didn't care if I was a good or bad hero, I just wanted to help people in the end. I stopped dwelling on what quirk I would get and decided to wake up my parents at 5:37 a.m. even though the appointment is at 11:30 a.m. Just because I can. I eat the covers off of me and jumped out of bed, then I ran out the room, closing the door behind me, the all-white sign banging loudly against the door. I basically slipped down the hallway as the living room and kitchen passed by like a blur. I grinned mischievously looking at the door of my parents' room. I probably looked stupid standing like a gremlin while hitting the duty before breaking and entering. I slammed the door open before running in and jumping on the bed like I was a dog waking up parents begging to go for a walk. I soon screamed, "It's high noon, bears, rise and shine." If I was to be honest, I didn't know why I said that, but I did because it felt right. What the foo? Hey, language mister, we got kids on this website. I started because I didn't want these poor kids to lose their innocence. Alright, what the fudge? Is that better? Dad said, raising an eyebrow. HMPH, fine, but guess what time it is? Your birthday, man. Dad said excitedly. No, it's not. I said, frowning. What, then what time is it? Dad asked. It's time for lunch, I screamed on purpose. Of course. What time is it? Dad chanted right away. It's time for lunch. What time is it? It's lunchtime. Hey, what's for lunch? I don't know. It's time for breakfast though. I said with a straight face. He got stopped mid-sentence by a certain someone who we forgot was sleeping. Can y'all shut up please? It's not even 6 o'clock a.m. yet and both of you all are chanting the Bible Guppy song. Inko said, frustrated. We glanced at each other before I started saying something I probably shouldn't have, but you know it's too late now. Aw, someone lost their beauty sleep. Ugh, how tragic. I said incredulously with fake sympathy. I knew I messed up when she didn't say anything back and looked pissed. Run. I yelped in fear. I ran out the door, closing it on Dad's face as he slammed into it. Ha ha ha, get wrecked. I hid in the bathroom locking the door, sighing in relief as I escaped the Reaper herself. I heard screaming and apologizing coming from my parents' room. I started laughing to myself knowing it wasn't me who was getting such nice treatment. Just when I thought I got away, of course she didn't stop with them and went for me. Since you were so nice to Mama, I decided to give you your birthday present early just because I'm so nice. She said sadistically. I could hear her smiling while she was saying it, which of course made me pale. Like a ghost. Nico, TF is you doing here? Get back now, wrong phantom dumbass. Stop shadowing, traveling everywhere. Fun fact but not so fun fact, the lock on the door was the one where you could use your nail, coin, or knife to unlock. So, I knew I fudged up badly, real badly even so. I could see the lock turn so agonizingly slow, fear seeping into my eyes knowing my soon demise. Click, the door threw open, presenting me to my mom who had a huge smile on her face. Wait, it was a joke. I said hurriedly. And to add on to that fear, my mom had her right dominant arm behind her back stopping me from seeing what was in her hand. But of course, she only had one slipper on, which meant one thing, I was gonna get whooped. Well, fudge me gently with a chainsaw. I said in a stage whisper, but Inko thankfully didn't hear it. I knew it wasn't the best choice of words for my last words, but at least I was gonna be known as the first person to die as that phrase being my last words. And, kinky. Don't ask, the internet got me fudged up these days. I closed my eyes waiting to get hit when, happy birthday Zook, here you go. I opened one eye still scared, not processing what she just said. She was presenting a present. It has a gold covering and a red ribbon on it, to add more sparkle. I was surprised, of course, as I thought I was gonna get beat for disrespecting my mom like that. Oh, thanks Mom. You're welcome. She said, acting like nothing just happened. Don't disrespect me like that again though. She said darkly, giving me another heart attack in the span of 2 minutes. She left the bathroom after leaving the present to me. Definitely, sorry. I said, scratching the back of my neck, sighing once more in relief. I grabbed the present before sitting down and laying on the cold marble bathroom floor. She can really be scary as hell when she wants to. After recovering from the shock, I went out of the bathroom and into the living room where Inko sat on the couch drinking coffee like she just didn't beat the living crap out of Dad and giving me 2 heart attacks. I wonder if Dad is okay. It's fine, he won't die, but this present is much more important right now. I sat down on the one-person recliner seat and began opening the present, wondering what this could possibly be. I untied the red glittery ribbon and started taking off the tape to hatch the present. And out came the newest doll-like figure that came out on the market like 1 month ago, and I wanted it so bad because it was one that had a speaker when you pressed it that obviously said, "You're gay, so slay," or "Teach me how to doogie." Teach me how to doogie. While hitting the doogie. It was comical gold and you know I had to get it. I'm kidding, it would never do that though, I wish it did. It actually said his famous catchphrase that basically everyone knew because he was the #1 hero in Japan, of course. Plus ultra. It honestly sounded like a power from Pokemon that Pikachu would use. like an ultimate superpower that would shock the enemy, frying the brain into mush while the eyes slowly melt down the face, effectively burning the face, and the rest of the body would burn into ash like ash ketchup. I just want to celebrate in winning the title of best Pokemon nerd ever. 20 years yet never aged. Immortal fuck, damn it was random, but would be a great quirk. You! Hold up, maybe a power from Pokemon like Pikachu's or Charizard or maybe Squirtle. That would be so sick. Yo, I could drown myself. What? I thank Mom for the present before running to. I hit 10,000 words, yes. Let's go. 5 digits. I'm built like that bird, no one can stop me now. Rah. The word of the chapter goes to. Alright, enough of your fame, back to the story. I thank Mom for the present with gratitude before running to my room, hitting the moonwalk along the way just because. We were gonna open the rest of the presents at 9 AM today, and thankfully I got one early, so I was pretty excited that I could add another to my huge collection I gathered over the years. I opened my door and was shown many posters, figurines, merchandise, and even an analysis notebook, my first one actually, that was personally signed by All Might himself at a HeroCon. Don't ask, but that would probably be a thing though, lol too. It was one of his most prized possessions that he owned. He waited a stupidly long time to get that signed by him. I finished the book when I was 3 and put it in a glass case to protect it from damage. I stopped analyzing the room for a minute straight and went over to the trusty shelf I've had since I was born. The shelf was dusted and clean. It was made out of mahogany bark, polished with epoxy covering the top to help keep the bark from molding and getting dirty. It had 6 sections. I designed each section for a year in my life. I kept memories over the years on each section. Today, I was finally on section 4. It was level to my eyes, so I had to go on my tiptoes to see over it. I was only 3'6" FT, which was pretty average considering I was usually shorter than kids my age. I had a way of organizing each shelf and it worked each year. In the far back wall I'd put manga, books, folded posters that no longer could fit on my walls, or solid blocky items. In the front is where I'd put toys, for example, figurines, keychains, and mini objects that were All Might themed. The section was already swept clean by me last night because it was the big day. I placed the figurine in the middle front, also since the curtain was open. Light was coming in and was on the figurine, making All Might smile somehow brighter, like it ain't already blinding. I squinted my eyes because I was blinded by the light. I yelled dramatically. Good song BTW. I guess I was too loud and Mom yelled at me to shut up since it was still only 6:30 AM. Alright geez, calm down wannabe. I stepped back and examined the shelf, ignoring Mom. The bottom row had the least amount of All Might items since I didn't know him much nor cared about until the second year, so there were a couple of All Might things from my parents. The second row had the most by far. It was basically overflowing with items that I had to close it with a clear glass wall so things didn't tumble out. I learned about him that year and was amazed by his feats and was his #1 fan, but was said by many, though, so who knew who was his #1 fan? That year I became obsessed and addicted to him. Not that way, you disgusting people. How do y'all ship him with All Might of all people? The age gap is insane. And is overall just weird and is unfathomable. I literally begged for merchandise on my knees, fam. I was mega desperate. The wood hurts on your knees. Underrated torture method though. The pain is slow, but after like a minute it starts to burn and sting. Over time it gets worse and worse. It would lead to bruising and cramps on the thighs and calves. With the amount of those thoughts I would be a good villain. What is it like being a villain? This isn't gonna be a villain dig seek, just so you know. The third year was a bit different though. For example, I mainly focused on figurines and toys instead of solid books, comics, manga, movies, etc. I had a couple of the solid things and had a lot of toys, though this year my obsession calmed down a bit and had like 5 to 10 less things than last year, so I was still obsessed with them but eased a bit. I went over to my desk in the corner farthest away from the door. On the desk I had an old computer that somewhat functioned, and it had writing supplies with 2 notebooks. One labeled in Sharpie Hero Analyses number 2. I was almost done with only 20 pages left that I could finish in a week if I had time. Each notebook has 150 pages each. The first notebook took me a year since I just started and was slow at the start and became faster over time. I cleared off the desk putting the objects in their respectful plots. I then turned on the computer, the whirring of the desk being cool flooding my ears, relaxing a bit in my chair. I went to the website YouTube, and it still kept its name and logo since it came out, which is surprising. It's still one of the most used watching platforms today even if it came out like years ago, but besides that point it's fun. Okay, so this is gonna be random, but I need to clear some shit up. There will be no selected time period unless said so by me. If you see one, just comment and tell me and I'll fix it, cause I'm too lazy to read the whole thing to find one. To find out there's none. Though we don't know the time period, I'm gonna upgrade the technology by a stupid amount for the Sokob story, though some of the basic things like cameras and mix and shit like that are gonna be dog shit for the Sokob the plot, too. The population will be 8 billion as it is now IRL, so the views and likes on his videos are gonna be like how video stats would be if the video blew up IRL. Izuku will be a YouTuber/streamer, kinda. He'll post his music and occasionally do streams on his camera and stuff like that. Also, he will rarely post him going on his patrols, but will be with 2 other people. Read to find out. The recommended feed popped up like every other time. I don't know why, but I got extremely attached to this one video that actually got me into All Might. It gives me hope and desire to become a hero like others. I usually watch the video on repeat, just amazed by his feats. I could only imagine what it was like being him and doing that casually. Y'all ever have crazy imaginations, have been in that situation and doing whatever, cause I do it a stupid amount of times. It was All Might standing on a bus with a bunch of civilians in his arms and shoulders, fire blazing in the background giving him this bright shade of orange and red. He was giving his signature smile that we all know, yelling, "Anybody can be a hero no matter the circumstances, you just have to have the heart and courage to do so." I made this shit up and don't know if that's what he said, so I doubt it. The video blew up like crazy with around 10 billion views and around 3 billion likes. Like I said, I watched that on repeat all the time, so I was around 10,000 of those views, which I was proud of even though it seemed so small. It was the most viewed video on the internet and I think it's worth that title. I just watched the video on repeat till it was time to open the presents. I was shaking with excitement to see what I got for my birthday. Once it was time, I rushed to the living room to see Mom and Dad hanging out talking while the presents were on the carpet just waiting to be opened. Mom noticed me first, waving and telling me to come over and open the presents, which I did gladly. When I got to the carpet, I turned to Dad, who had a bruise on his chin from such kind treatment. Of course, I hid a laugh and a cough successfully somehow. "I sincerely apologize for leaving you to her like that." I smirked, knowing well I wasn't. "Of course you do," he said with sarcasm, lowering his voice. I laughed at his answer before opening the presents. "Well, since I'm lazy, I'm just gonna tell you what I got since it's easier. Okay, first off, I got more All Might themed poop, a new brownish backpack for whatever may come over the years, a metal pokeball, the original, red, white, black, a very useful GoPro camera, a microphone. This is gonna be used all throughout the story. And to top it all, of 3 books and random interesting facts to ruin your day. 1, 2, 3. It's a series that I wanted for a while, since I could just belt out random facts to ruin other people's day. Oh joy, fun. Wait, I also got stickers to put on my pokeball, GoPro camera, backpack, and microphone. Thank God it isn't All Might themed for once. It was Eraserhead, Present Mick, and other green themed poop. I haven't exactly said this yet. Since the villain incident and meeting Eraserhead, I did whatever I could do to research him. I kinda got into him, no homo, more than ever, and started to get over All Might, which my parents are thankful for, because All Might merchandise was getting expensive, since inflation was higher than ever. After zoning out for a bit, I entered the real world, sadly. Y'all ever just want to escape reality, forever? Cause I have a lot actually, usually when I tired as fuck and just wanna sleep forever, just never get out of bed and just lay there doing whatever my mind wanders to. Okay, I'll stop ranting, geez, no need to get so bloody pressed, sorry to my Brits. I grabbed all the wrappings, tape, and ribbons and brought it to the trash can we have in the kitchen. I was kinda a neat freak, organizing nerd, and germaphobe apparently. I always had a Germex bottle with me and used it frequently, and to throw in people's eyes. Anyways, I went back into the living room and put all the things into my new backpack since it was much easier to do that than carrying it everywhere. I thank my parents once again for such nice presents. Well, hope you enjoyed it. Happy birthday, kid. Dad said smiling. Mom nodded and sent me on my way to my room. I put the backpack on and jogged to my man cave. I went in and sat down on the rug in the middle of the room and emptied the backpack. Okay, now I need to sort everything, but I need to unpack it, too. I took off the layered sheets, tape, cardboard, then the styrofoam. I got the Shure SM7B Curdy Audio Dynamic Vocal Microphone, a Hero 11 Black GoPro, a digital camera for photography, 4K, 48MP plug-in camera, books which I could read later, etc. I put multiple different stickers on each item: backpack, pokeball, camera, GoPro, microphone, except the All Might themed stuff. I set the All Might themed stuff on the respectful shelf. I put the video items on the desk to be organized, the books on my bed to read at night, tonight. Also, I set the backpack near the door along with the shoes. I went to my desk to set up the things. First, I plugged in my microphone into the outlet and into the side of the computer. I also plugged in the camera into the outlet and the computer. It took me a couple of minutes to finish setting up the stuff to work, but it had to be charged, so I did that first. I went back to the computer whilst the things were charging and went to YouTube. I haven't made an account since I had it and decided to make one just cause I was bored. I haven't said this yet, but I've made an email and password last year in July 23rd. The email is greengod@yahoo.com, and password is erasermechantip. Yeah, I know they're dating. Don't ask how I know, but I know I'm not a stalker. I decided to make my account name be greengod because... Anyways, I have no idea if I'm gonna do anything with it. Maybe to watch restricted videos, because I need them for my analyses. Oh, what about my innocence? I lost it a while ago, on the internet, of course. I've seen some bad things, but it doesn't seem too bad though, so I don't know why people overreact to it. Cause I know Eraser did when I started talking about all the bad things. People are like, you're so young. Or how do you know this? I know that, who TF doesn't these days? I just don't get it. But of course, I don't care exactly at all. So I grabbed my notebook I was on and a couple of pens, went to the restricted videos I knew of right now and started doing my analyzing. I went through multiple videos, grateful I could watch them. I was soon done with the 20 pages left, so I started a new stack to store them in the corner of the desk. I checked the time and it said 11:12 a.m. And oh my God, it was time. It was a time basically or literally every single kid in the world was hoping for. The quirker they get it earlier, but that's not the point. Also, I grabbed my newest All Might figure out the door too. I rushed out the door and into the living room excitedly and at a record pace and PB, too. It's time. CMO and stop sitting around you lazy bums. I yelled enthusiastically. Mom and Dad were definitely surprised by my shouting all of a sudden. They got the point of it and got up from the couch. Dad went for the keys while Mom left for the car. Ready. I followed Mom to the car and jumped into the car from the window. Too lazy and too energetic to care. Again. Anyways, I waited in the car, shaking my leg up and down nervously. Come on Dad, can you take any fudging longer? I want to get to know my quirk now. Please Dad, you're torturing me taking your stupid precious time, you old, overused flamethrower. He finally got out of the house and into the car. Thank God, I swear at a time I would drag him out the house by his ear if he took any longer. He turned on the ignitions and reversed out the parking lot. I knew I had time till we got to the quirk specialist, but still I wish I could speed up time. Ooh, new quirk idea. I could speed up time and slow it, or maybe like CERN idea, I could see the future of the person he touched. That would be sick. I was looking out the window. Shops, people, parks, buildings, and animals were appearing in my peripheral vision and leaving quickly. I always liked riding in cars, and even more when it's a road trip, because you had time to think without having any distractions, usually, of course. I was zoned out until Dad turned up the radio, blasting one of my favorite songs at the time, I Would Run by Keanu Bickle. Underrated. I don't own this song, so all credits to him or her. All the lyrics and music go to him/her. I just like the song a lot. I have always loved the song since I first heard it and knew all the lyrics of it. I always sang when no one was around except my parents, not even Kekken, surprisingly enough. I felt comfortable not being judged for my music taste and my horrible singing, even though my parents say it's beautiful. Doubt that. I Would Run by Keanu Bickle. Play song above silently. I wait for love, but honestly it'll never come. In my room is where I'll stay. Oh, I would go. Oh, I would run. No one cares about this song. Sincere in my words, yet I'm still wrong. Honey, I hope I say this right. I love you. You should stay tonight. My desires, I must confess, I want you more when you want me less. You just want one night and you'll go. Girl, please love me. I'm not a show. Being left alone is my greatest fear now. It's in my face so clear. I need someone close to hold. Please love me. Please don't go. Please don't go. Please don't go away from me. Honey, I might seem deranged. I can't promise that I will change. I hope you see that I'm worthy enough to hold your hand and be your beloved who cares. He's always there by your side at all times. The demons in the dark, they say that this is where I will decay if I don't want to be here any longer. Oh, I wish 5. The voice inside my brain that tells me I'm just insane. I need someone close to hold. Oh, please love me. Please don't go. Please don't go. Please don't go away from me. Silently I wait for love, but honestly it'll never come. In my room is where I'll stay. Oh, I would go. Oh, I would run. No one cares about this song. Sincere in my words, yet I'm still wrong. Honey, I hope I say this right. I love you. You should stay tonight. End of song. Now is breathing heavily because I hardly ever sing, and if I do I'm always out of breath. And I know I have hardly any stamina, and I am willing to practice that so I get better at it. But of course, unbeknownst to me, my mom was recording the entire fudging thing. Bro, you do not know the pain I would have to go through to get that deleted, or if not, it would be a huge blackmail on my bum. Ma'am, please delete that. I begged, hands together with puppy eyes. I mean, people say my puppy eyes are pretty persuasive. But of course, somehow, she didn't give in and replied with something I wish I would never hear in my life. I'm going to post this on my Facebook account. She yelped excitedly. She was jumping in her seat up and down like a girl in high school gossiping. No. Please, the embarrassment will kill me. I swore to time if she did it, I would learn how to hack into accounts and delete as quickly as possible. Just for the sake of it. I hugged my head disappointed of the misery I have to go through. I knew it wasn't that bad. I was just overdramatic. We waited in silence till we got to the hospital. I just played with the all-white figurine from Now Quirk Inspections. Yamashi. Yeah, that was the name of it. It wasn't that popular but had good ratings, so my parents didn't give it a second thought since it was cheap and efficient from what they heard. Also, it's probably best not to judge stuff like that since it was hard to find good quirk hospitals near you. I could see the place from a long way cause I had 20/20ths vision. I'm so fucking jealous. Me with 70/20ths. It's barred and set equals my looking ass, and to add I had fucking braces. Hurl. I'm so excited. I'm probably more excited than Pinkie Pie from My Little Ponies when it was her birthday. You know what episode I'm talking about. Rubbing hands aggressively with a mischievous look on my face. Yeah, next thing you know, I'm zoned out thinking about whose superpower 8 would want from My Little Ponies. Actually, I would like Rainbow Dash's best. Hey. I yelled out loud. Embarrassing, I thought nervously, earning myself 2 questioning glances from my parents. You're gay? Mom asked, confused as hell, with a raised eyebrow. Yeah. I really don't know why I said yes even though I knew I wasn't gay. Man, even I don't even know if I'm gay or not. Wait, really? Dad replied. No, of course not. I also replied. Bro, what? Never mind. Dad said, ending the conversation. Okay, the reason why I did this is because I do the same thing at school all the time. People are like, are you gay? As an insult, like my guy, I always reply with, yes. Then the person is shocked and asks, really? Then I say, no. Then they're confused being like, but you just said you were gay, don't ask questions. LOL. We rounded into the parking lot, fortunately getting a front row parking. Dad always says this. We all got out of the car excited, but I was the most excited, of course, since it was my time. It had those bright neon open signs in the front like most stores or gas stations. We went inside with the last in line. The lounge had a comforting vibe, dim but not dark shine, sofas, couches, chairs, tables, footrests, and the front desk. It was quite big, with it being more wide than long in area. No one was present in the lounge except us and the man at the front desk. There were 2 hallways on each side with doors where people go to get their quirk either checked or known. I could hear some people talking in some of them but couldn't comprehend what they were saying. We walked up to the front desk and greeted the man there. "Hello, what is your last name so I can find it here?" "Midoriya," Dad replied. The guy mumbled okay and scrolled down the list, finding them. Door 4, on the left hallway. We thanked the guy separately and made our way down the hallway to the door opening it. The room had a bunch of X-ray machines, tests, tubes, syringes, and a man greeted us nicely. "Hello, I need to take X-rays of," looking at me, "Izuku," I said excitedly. "All right, I like your enthusiasm, so let's get started." I went into a separate room to get X-rayed, get blood samples, take some syringes that had weird colored liquids in it. I guess it was for how the body reacts or how I react to it. I never actually learned how it works, even though I researched a lot about it. For some reason it was kept secret from the public because of the government, and I had to know. I was dying of not having answers. Maybe I could hack into it, but I doubt it. It would take a couple of YouTube videos to learn and a couple of years experience. I had to wait for around 2 hours total / max, but it felt like years. I mean, it didn't feel that long since I was spaced out the entire time, so it felt really quick. Sometimes it's nice to space out and not have to worry about being rushed and just relaxing for once. And it was time. It's time. I've been waiting for years. Literally, I can't wait for my quirk, bro. Please be something good like Kekun. The guy had to leave to a different room to put in the data and stuff to find out my quirk, but when he came in the room unexpectedly, he had a sympathetic, sad, shallow, and a face full of pity. Yeah, I'm fucked. I guess Kekun's everlasting cursing has started to rub off of me, thankfully. So, I guess I got a trash, or villainous quirk like some people. I wouldn't really care if it was cool to me, at least knowing other judgmental people wouldn't hesitate to tease my ass. He sat down in his chair holding his clipboard in his lap. "So, after some careful consideration between the staffies quirkles." Oh. I dropped my All Might figurine in shock. I couldn't fucking believe my ears and eyes since I could lip read pretty well. I zoned out extremely quickly. Wow, all that hype for nothing. I'm quirkles. Yeesh. The realization hit me pretty hard. Extremely, intensively hard actually. I sank down in my chair, tears flowing down my face unsteadily. I put my hands to my face and put my head on them. Breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out. This mantra repeated in my head over and over, yet still barely calmed down. I could faintly hear Mom and Dad bargaining and double-checking to make sure just in case it was a mistake. I gained some hope, but it was shattered quickly by loudly. The guy pulled up an X-ray of my foot to show 2 joints instead of 1, so it was made clear that it wasn't a mistake. If you look right here, you can see 2 joints in his pinky toe instead of 1. He turned to the parents, and took a deep breath. People who are quirkles have 2 joints, so he is quirkles. He finished to my parents' dismay. So I'm actually quirkles. It's a mistake or a prank. If it was a prank, it would be an awful one. Wonder how that's gonna affect my life. Or how bad. Pretty fucking bad, I imagine. Wait, does that mean I can't be a hero? No. Please don't do this to me. Please have mercy on my disappointed ass. All in all, he can't be a hero. The doctor finished before picking up his stuff and leaving the room to ourselves. I wonder if my parents are gonna abandon me that quick just like the doctor did. But most importantly, my hypothesis was correct, when the only time I wish it wasn't. I couldn't be a fucking hero. It was hopeless in the end. There's nothing I could do. I could never gain a quirk. It obviously wasn't a mistake, so that's out the window. How about a villain? Nah, it's too cliché. Oh, the tragic backstory, being quirkless and then abandoned to die, to then having revenge without mercy on their enemies who doubted them and hurt them. It's too basic in my opinion, nor did I feel like having enough energy to partake in such disgraceful activities. I was awoken by my thoughts by a sharp tug on my wrist, sending ripples of discomfort and pain through my arm and ending in my chest, but restarting all over again, starting in my wrist. The pain was constant for a bit before calming down, but I guess I sat there for too long before my dad yelled at me to get up and listen. His tone didn't match his loving father voice and more of a harsh, commanding voice. Right then and there, I lost all of my respect for him, probably forever, since I didn't get something basically everyone else had, even though I couldn't control it. It honestly pissed me off that his entire personality would alter in a matter of a couple of seconds, acting all lovey-dovey and innocent to die you mistake type shit. I was still getting pulled by my wrist by my mom, but it was much softer and nicer. I didn't even bother trying to get my all-white figurine from the floor. We exited the place and into the car without any words, but there was obvious tension in the air between us all. Dad took the driving seat with a pissed, almost constipated look on his face, which almost made me snicker, but I held it, knowing it would make the situation only worse, and at the standpoint it was already pretty bad. I contemplated all of my life choices and if my life was worth living anymore. Ironic actually, it basically having a disabled son all it does is cause misery for the person and the people around him. I could see why suicide rates for quirkless people were so stupidly high. I just figured out I was quirkiness not even like 20 minutes ago, and I now want to kill myself. I knew if I just waited things out a bit longer before killing myself, I might just change my mind and decide to live for the time being. In all honesty, I didn't actually know at all. I just needed to bring my mood up a bit. We made it back home relatively quick to my dismay and sadness. Kekin's family was away on vacation to wherever they felt like, so no one was actually near to witness the monstrosity that was gonna go down right now actually. Dad was the first one in the room and we followed him scared, knowing his drama queen ass is mad as hell that I'm quirkless. I wasn't that surprised to find him mad or angry that he has a quirkless son. Like, why couldn't he have a quirk? It ain't that hard. He stopped halfway before turning on his heel on us, smoke and a rare puff of fire crawling out of his mouth, giving him this villain look. Guess he practiced that in the mirror to scare people off, or just to look scary once he becomes a villain. I was guessing more options, but I didn't see nor pay attention at all to him stomping towards me, like the audacity he had to not bow down and respect his young ones. I mentally laughed at that, but a smile crept up on my face. I guess he noticed it and decided to comment on it just a bit more aggressively than I expected. What the fuck you smiling at, you quirkless mistake? Dad yelled in my face, flames coming out more before dissipating before my eyes. I've always found flames cool since it could just do whatever it likes with no rules or commands to follow. No restraints or obeying anyone, just free. Though, flames didn't seem so cool now since I might just get burned alive right now. I was lifted on the ground by a rough, meaty hand, feet dangling and swinging to feel a surface. Thankfully it was by my shirt collar, not my neck, or I would have to say kinky. It's basically a miss at this point. I was eye level with Dad. His gray eyes didn't seem so nice and comforting, more like a dangerous stormy bitch. His eyes were captivating, but I could look away with enough willpower. But I knew at this point it wasn't the best choice, because I might earn myself some consequences. Kinky. Man, I should stop saying that. That'll be a great habit. You're not answering me, brat. I'm talking to you, you worthless trash. Dad kept on yelling at my face about how worthless and useless I am. It had hurt my feelings, but I could really care less about what he thought right then and there. His voice was also very fucking annoying, like, why the fuck you yelling in fucking caps lock? Like, my man, chill out. I think you need a chill pill, or an ice cube. There's steam coming out of your ears, you know. I finally said something, but it was probably the worst thing I could have said, but you know, it's in the past. When telling people to calm down, it is the exact opposite of what you meant. Like when a Karen is screaming about their burger being cold and you tell them to eat it since you need to chill, get it, cold and chill. Then in the end they get more mad. Yet, Dad just got more pissed off. I didn't expect to see my dad reeling his other free hand back and then punching me on my right chin. My head snapped back since that motherfucker was actually strong, or maybe because I was still 4, but I didn't care since my head was throbbing and I was dizzy. Come on, I'm now gonna have a headache, you cunt. Black dots were blocking vision, but it didn't all the way through, sadly. I barely felt tears falling down my cheeks, but they were there to show I was in pain. Great, now he's going to feed off of my pain and continue it. Boring, just like every other school bully, be more original. Hisashi, what the fuck are you doing? That's our kid. Inko yelled into Osahi's ear. I could see his eyes weren't focused and looked like he was in a trance that he couldn't get out of. Shut up, Inko, you birthless worthless piece of shit. He's fucking Quirkles. He won't do anything good in life. I guess he was now pissed at Inko because that hole literally punched Inko in the nose. The fucking audacity of this asshole. Inko stumbled backwards holding her nose. It was now bleeding because I saw blood leak between her fingers. I slipped out of my shirt when he was focused on Inko. He snapped his head back to the empty shirt and held no weight. I fallen 4 feet before leaping forward and tackling his legs, throwing him down. I knew I couldn't overpower him since he was so much older, but I knew I was smarter on analyses and strategies. Even strength has to bow down to wisdom. I got that off a book. Don't remember. He fell down on his left knee on the hardwood. I heard him groan and grunt loudly. I was proud of myself for that, but my time was quickly diminished by him getting up, breathing fire every time. I started getting up and dived backwards when I saw him breath deeply and his neck turn orange, signaling him gonna fire his fire. That sounded so done, lol. The flames barely missed me as I landed on the wood on my stomach. That definitely got a bruise later. The flames were very close to my feet. It was basically tickling it. I heard running water but ignored it, as Hisashi was advancing towards me. He reeled his hand back pretty far, right hand, and was gonna punch me, but I swiftly rolled to my left as he punched the wood pretty damn hard, making his hand bleed in the process. Dumbass always relies on strength and not getting an education on fighting skills where it's common. He was really classified as a huge stupid dumb asshole. He brought his hand back in pain and shook it violently as he breathed through his teeth. You fucking asshole, look what you did to me, he said, brandishing his now bloody bruised hand. What I did? More like, what the fuck did you do? You're the one who tried punching me. You know you should try to learn how to fight instead of relying on only strength, you incompetent asshole. You know fighting like that will get you nowhere in your life, I said, smirking, knowing where I was going. He laughed it off, but I knew it hurt his poor feelings. Ha ha, says the one who's running away from me, you pussy, he said, smirking, thinking he was in the right. You sound really dumb right now and kinda depressing. You, a grown-ass man with a quirk, fight a 4-year-old quirkless nobody. Why can't you find a person your own size, scared? I replied, taunting him, potting my 2 fingers and flicking them up and down on the word nobody. I definitely struck a nerve there and he took the bait. He didn't pay attention to his surroundings and what he was doing before he did it. I dived under his legs cause I'm small as fuck, as he did the same attack again, breathing fire. Inko came out of nowhere and threw an entire cup of water into his face with ice filled to the brim before yelling, "Get the fuck out of here, now and never come back before I call the police and get you sued for a homicidal and murder attempts twice, or I will knock you out with this pan and kill you myself." Inko yelled into his now shocked wet face. He didn't give a second thought a word and started packing and leaving. At least he has some type of common sense. He knows that getting in jail and getting sued for murder isn't the way to go or worth it. So I'll give him that. He was in the door before turning around and giving his last words, hopefully. I never liked you things anyway. You're all pathetic little shits with zero common sense. Especially Inko. I can't believe I ever called you my wife. You birthed a quirkless, worthless, useless, defenseless piece of shit. And that thing, pointing at me, I was almost gonna laugh. Here's some advice. You'll never get anywhere in life, so give up and just kill yourself. You'll never be a hero, you quirkless trash. This won't be the last time you will see me. He finished smirking, thinking he won. He ain't coming back, Zeke. I started laughing. Hypocrite. He stopped smiling instantly and was tense in the legs like he was gonna leap at me, but stopped as he noticed the metal pan in Inko's hand tilted just in case. Okay, so was that good at all? Please tell me. I honestly suck at writing fighting scenes and I need help or tips to make it better from other writers or just people in general. He turned around without a word and slammed the door with a skull on his face. Inko ran forward and locked the door. I sighed in relief before breaking down. I sat down on the floor and pulled my legs in and laid my head on them, crying hard. Yeah, my sarcastic comments and infinite snapbacks were just a bluff. Basically everything is now, put up a mask and live in it. Is it bad that it was the first hour and I was already used to using a mask to hide my true feelings? Nah. Okay, maybe, but I'm fine. My mom still had dry blood on her nose and some on the top of her lip from not wiping it off. She sat down next to me silently and started to whisper comforting words in my ear. It slowly worked. My crying stopped and I started breathing regularly. I is ever code coming BB back. I started stuttering but I hiccup constantly. No, he won't. I'll make sure he'll never ever come back. You hear me, Zook? I nodded, hanging my head. Is it true? I said more confidently in my words, just in denial. What's true? She said, worried, but was confident that she knew the answer to all my questions. That I can't be a hero because I'm quirkless. I said with tears blurring my eyes a bit. I looked up into her eyes, looking into her also green eyes. They were more dull and tired than his, or maybe other way around. I could see her stumped. I guess she didn't expect that. Most people would, and since quirkless people are so rare they would never hear that question. She sat there for a couple minutes. I would wait for her as long as she needed to. She said before answering, you can be a hero but you shouldn't. Being a hero without a quirk is basically working with a disability. Hero work is dangerous enough fighting against villains who have quirks. The job requires saving people's lives while risking your own is the entire point of it. If you decide to be a hero and become one, your chance of dying is going to be 1,000,000 times higher than one with a quirk. With me knowing these chances, you would put a lot of stress and worry on me and I don't think I could take it all. So, I'm not saying you can't, though the idea seems impossible to basically everybody, but I definitely don't recommend it. She ended while pulling me into a hug. So at least one person believes I could be a hero. Yay, note the sarcasm. I sighed and leaned into her hug. Just why? Why me? Why not someone else? What did I do to deserve this? Man, fight the fates, hope you all die in the deepest trenches of Tartarus. PJO reference. Why does every fucking single thing have to be so fucking unfair? How was Captain gonna react? It's just an X-ray, right? And that X-ray basically decides my whole future, but besides that point it can't be that bad, right? Inko POV, I knew better than to lie to my son like that. It's always best to tell the truth, because that person is gonna find out one day and it's not gonna end well. It hurts me to tell him that, but it's good for him now. His life is only gonna get harder and it's nice to know she might be the only one to believe in him. I also knew I wouldn't be able to handle the thought of my son being in danger every second of his life if he becomes a hero. He was her only lifeline and the reason why she kept on living. If he died, she didn't know what she would do next. Kill herself. Seems like an easy outgoing, but what about the Bakugos that will only hurt them? Keep on living. If he did die, I would only be depressed and in misery knowing that if I lied and stopped him from becoming a hero he would still be there with her. Every option seemed like a bad one, so she hoped as long as Izuku was alive she would keep on going even though her husband left. She decided that she didn't need him anymore and could live by herself and her son, and with the Bakugos. Oh no. No 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 no. This could go so wrong, in so many ways. They find out she has a quirkless son, they abandon her. No one would want to mingle with a woman and a quirkless son. It would hurt their reputation and limitations even more. She could only hope that the Bakugos would stay loyal and understanding with them. Oh no, how would Katsuki react to him being quirkless? I really hope he will accept him. I think he's smart enough to know that it isn't his fault. The only thing she could do was hope and pray that everything will at least go neutral. Though she knew that would be too much to ask for. Wow, what a horrible part of the chapter. Sorry for making y'all cringe so hard while reading that. How would y'all rate that extra part of him knowing that he's quirkless? I'll read the comments if there's any. So I'll also say that part was more than 9,200 words, so I can actually write some words instead of some short-ass 4,000 word chapters. When I first started writing them, stopped and then deleted it cause it sucked ass for a couple months before now. Yeah, they were short compared to my prologue of 17,700 words as of now when writing this. How I write this all, imagination and the additional details sprinkled into the mix and creating some short-ass parts, like come on 12-year-old lazy bone ass get your ass working on this damn prologue. I'm also gonna say if I actually put some time today, drum roll, thud thud thud, 3 hours. Wow, I actually committed today and got only 3,000 words done. Kinda pathetic in my opinion. I mean, it would only be 1.5 hours if I wasn't just watching the World Cup between France and Morocco game. I just want to say that I went 3 hours straight. How, you may ask? My sheer amount of willpower. Yeah, somehow I went 3 hours straight. I'm surprised since I usually put in only around 20 minutes a day, or even 20 minutes total in 2 days. Yeah, so congratulations to me. Now, comment on this one. Anyways, I'm still going. I still have planned one more part, so keep on ready to find out what it is. Note: Izuku has known he was Quirkles for about a week now, and Kekken and his family have come back from their vacation. Izuku POV. Beep, 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 smack. Alarms suck. Like, shut up please. I'm trying to get my beauty sleep in. Stupid alarm. But you know what's even more stupid and done? I have to go to school today. Come on, can't I get a fucking break for once? Like, I was having fun for summer break and the break always feels so short. Every time, until I learned I was Quirkles, it all came crashing down and everyone, family-wise, was in a bad mood. So it didn't get any better when I had to leave for kindergarten. I stopped thinking about all of the bad things that would go wrong on the first day of school and got up from my bed. I walked my way into the bathroom looking at myself. I still had the same unkempt, unruly wild hair like before, the same length, too. My eyes were much dimmer and duller. It lost most of its determination and shine to it. You could definitely see a difference if you look at it for a bit. I had slight eye bags under my eyes, though it was hard to notice to most unless you paid attention. Though I doubt people will when they learn I'm Quirkless, so I didn't care. Overall, I just looked miserable and depressed. I was still tired and sleepy, so I took a shower to wake my ass up. Oh yeah, I started cursing a bit more, too. It's fun to curse honestly because you could release pent-up anger and frustration in a couple of words, though it's not fun when it's towards you. I shook my clothes off and stepped into the shower, pulling the curtains from socializing. I turned on the water, but it was cold as hell. The water beat on my skin and I started shivering. I then turned the knob to the left to make the water at least bearable. The water was now bearable, and I sat down in the tub laying on my back as the water hit my face directly, not caring that I could hardly breathe with water blocking my nose and mouth. As if I opened them I would probably choke on the water. Would anyone care if I drowned? Only my mom. Man, being Quirkles sucks. No friends and no one except my mom cares about my ass. Even my dad left us. Guess it was really my fault. I jerked up with a jolt of shock and started gasping for oxygen. Shit, I almost fucking drowned myself. Damn, why the fuck was that so easy? Just space out and boom, dead. Well, at least I'm awake, lol. Anyways, I got up from laying and washed my body before turning off the water and drying myself. I brushed my teeth and flashed it before washing it down with water. God damn, why the fuck is the water so crispy? I walked back into my room, and I usually didn't care about what clothes I had as long as they were comfortable, but today, I put on my least favorite clothes I owned cause I knew today they were gonna get ruined. I had a gut feeling that today was be my second least favorite day if I lived so far, counting the fact I learned I was Quirkles not even a week ago. Anyways, I grabbed my old backpack and put my pencil case, plastic water bottle from yesterday that I could refill at the water fountains at school, but decided to leave anything important here just in case, and lastly some random cheap school supplies that I wouldn't care if I lost or got stolen. Knowing my good luck so far in life, everything would go perfectly fine. Note the massive amount of sarcasm in that sentence. I also decided to put the bare minimum in the old backpack because mostly it's either going over rules, meeting new people, telling about their new quirks, or how the summer went and no schoolwork basically the whole day unless you're the teacher. Like, come on, we just got back and you give us schoolwork and homework. Like, how much do you hate your job? I stopped ranting about how school would go and went into the living room to find Mom cooking breakfast. I brought my backpack downstairs and set it by the door next to my red cartoon shoes. "Hey Mom, good morning. What are you cooking for breakfast?" I asked my mom, walking into the kitchen to see what she was doing while grabbing a snack for the drive to school, shoving it into my pocket of my shorts. "Good morning, Izu. I'm cooking your favorite breakfast, green waffles," she answered, giving me a warm smile before returning to adding the green food dye into the bagger. PJO reference if I keep, well, that made my day a little bit better. "Thank you, Mom," I replied. I knew I had a couple of minutes to waste and decided to just sit on the couch watching the TV. It was the same as always. Villain attacks, new ranking heroes, and random nonsense. I turned it off, finding nothing of interest, and just stalked over to the dining table and waited till then. She put a plate down with 2 green waffles and some butters on top, along with a syrup bottle as big as my head, height-wise. I always drown my waffles every time we have them. "Stop pouring so much, you're basically drowning them," Mom said. It was the first time she said that, so I just replied with the first thing that came to mind. "If I can't drown, either can my waffles." I know I could drown, but logic was never there in the first place. "You wish," she replied. "Yeah, I would be when I die of natural causes." Lol. I stabbed my fork into my waffle and started inhaling it, as my mom says apparently, but nonetheless I was enjoying it even if she didn't believe I did. I finished somewhat quickly and wiped my mouth with a napkin. Yeah, at least I have some manners, unlike some people. Like, geez, it ain't that hard. I picked up my plate and set it in the sink, and did a little jog to the bathroom to once again brush my teeth. Gotta keep my teeth clean and shiny. I didn't spend too much time brushing my teeth and a bit more on trying to comb my hair out, but stopped after a bit, did no progress. Lucky ass metho, white teeth, I sighed silently before muttering about my hair. Couldn't just calm the fuck down, but I ignored it and went out into the living room before grabbing my things and putting on my bright ass neon red shoes. Goddamn, these are fucking eyesore. I should probably get rid of these and get some normal shoes for once. Mom was already in the car waiting for my lazy ass to get ready, and I grabbed my shit and walked out, getting prepared for hell. I jumped through the already open window and sat down in the back seat, smirking because I didn't hit something this time, nor did I land awkwardly. Was that really necessary? Mom questioned me with a raised eyebrow. Why, of course it was necessary. If the door didn't open itself for me, why should I open it myself? I mean, the window was open. It was inviting. I crossed my arms and answered with an attitude. Mom chuckled and started driving towards the school. "We a cool elementary school. Made the shit up, lol. Do I have to go, Mom? The kids would tease me about being quirky, so why can't I just be homeschooled?" I whined because I knew damn well that the kids would do much more than just tease. Kids are vicious, like crazy, going on a silent type shit. Especially little kids my age, and they got no filter nor remorse at all, from experience, from watching afar. Don't be like, if you're gonna be a hero, why don't you help them? Brr. What did I just say? I don't get involved if it's just rumors, lies, or gossip, cause that's just gonna happen and you just got to deal with it, but I will get involved if it's bullying, fighting, or any type of physical meaning behind it. Yes, Izu, trust me, you need to have some type of social life instead of living in your room for the rest of your life, and I don't exactly have time to fit in my schedule to homeschool you, between juggling part-time jobs constantly to keep us alive, as you could say. This would be the safest option. I don't want this any more than you do, but I have to, so please be on your best behavior. She finished her speech with a grim look on her face. I nodded, hanging my head, my chin between my left and right collarbones. I didn't complain anymore, knowing the situation we're in. We were at the lowest point of our lives. Me being quirkles, Dad leaving because of me, and it's all my fault because I couldn't be like a normal kid. He was our only money source. I'm not trying to sound like a gold digger, but he kept us financially stable. With them gone we had no way of earning money, so mom took on some part-time jobs to level the field out. But we were barely hanging on and it was only the first week. We knew it wasn't gonna last long, so we had to find a new solution. I could take some jobs by cleaning people's cars, walking dogs, cleaning people's houses, stuff like that, but the problem was that I was still 4. I couldn't do anything like that till I was 7, because anything before that is illegal for underage labor, and I didn't want my mom to be arrested for something we couldn't control. So the only solution we could think of was our taking up more jobs. It literally hurts my heart seeing her having to go through this every day because of me, and I had to stay back and be dragged along as I let weight. Yeah, that's what I feel like right now. All that weight can't do anything useful. Just a stupid, useless weight, only bringing my own and only mom down farther and farther. I can't even help my mom out right now. I really am useless. Maybe if I was just gone, everything would go back to normal. Dad would come back to live with mom and maybe have another kid who was actually normal and useful, unlike me. I guess everything was really my fault. I felt soft hands shaking my shoulders back and forth, throwing me off of my train wreck of thought, and looked up to see my mom with an affectionate and worried face on. Izu, are you okay? You're crying. What's wrong? Mom asked quietly and lovingly. When she mentioned it, I did finally feel something cold running down my cheeks. My legs were tucked up into my chest and wrapped my hands around them to tighten myself into a ball. I loosened myself and let my feet fall with a thud against the card floor, and then wiped the tears off of my face with my hands and on my shirt, leaving a wet cold stain. Yeah, I'm fine, just thinking, about what has happened so far. I said, lying through my teeth, cause I know damn well I'm not fine. No one is when they learn their fucking quirkles. She thankfully trusted my words and gave me some advice about not to think about the past since it already happened, and to think about the present because that's the only thing we could change to something beautiful. Yeah, I wish over my dead body. LMAO. Well, we're here. Hope you have a good day. Stay out of trouble for your mom, she said with a small smile before kissing my forehead and ruffling my hair affectionately. I laughed while I gently pushed her hand off of my already messed up hair. Come on, Mom, I just combed it and you messed up my hard work, I said with a big smile on my face. Yeah, and you wish it was combed. So move along and stop stalling. I need to head to work. She gave me one last kiss before sighing and nudging me to get moving. I put on my backpack, which was still light as heck, and stepped out of the vehicle. You remember the way to your class, right? We learned it yesterday. We practiced it, right? She checked on me one last time when I nodded and closed the door, ending the conversation. Well, not just yet, because she pulled down the window and told me, why, 20,000 words, baby, I'm built like that way. And the second word of the chapter goes to me. Alright, enough of your fame, back to the story. Well, not just yet, because she rolled down the window and told me goodbye before speeding off. Well, now what the fuck do I do? Well, I actually do know what to do. Cool. This situation literally feels like that one music video that goes like, the world is so small, till it ain't. Yeah, you all know what it is, so don't act like you all don't. I'm watching you all. You all this, you all that. Goddamn, I'm becoming Western. Hold up, let me play some imaginary country music. I just chugged 2 beers, fucking my stepsis in my back for def 250. Alright. I'm definitely having perfectly normal 4-year-old internal thoughts like every other 4-year-old would have. Cough cough, cough, said Hairball. Nah, what the fuck am I doing right now? Not cause literally. What is you doing, dog? Why are you asking me? You're the one who is doing this. Well, I can't believe you're accusing me of such treacherous acts. I'll have you know those are some very big accusations you're making, so I would be careful of what you say next, or I'll make you do some very terrible things. Ha, see, caught yo ass LMAO, dies of wheezing. So hard is that kid okay? He looks like he is having a seizure of the ground. Hey, are you good? A deep voice asks. I didn't even know I was on the ground laughing my ass off, probably physically shaking, so I instantly stopped laughing and got up and did what every other normal person would do and scream, behind you. Sounding scared. The guy whipped his head around and only saw a bird pooping on the sidewalk. I was surprised he didn't get whiplash from how quick he turned his head. I took my chance and ran away from the awkward situation, laughing to myself again. Oh my god, that was perfect. I have to do that again to somebody or even him again. I walked up to the front entrance of the school. I got the message on the overpass. Great song. A long drive back. Administration. I walked in casually and waved at the kid nearest to me who was my age, but an inch or two taller than me. I didn't recognize the face, so that relieved me cause they wouldn't ask me about my quirk since they didn't know if I haven't hit 4 yet or just didn't want to talk since they were nervous or whatever that called. Socially awkward or something like that from what I've heard. I was always a bit shorter than average or basically everybody else, though of this age nobody really gave a crap about height till later in life. It sucked being short cause everything seemed so much bigger than you and things higher up were much harder to grab for me than other people. I knew later in life I was gonna be ridiculed for being short as people usually do it to make themselves feel better about their height. I couldn't blame them for it as people become more and more insecure when they get older. Though my height was the least of my worries, as being quirkles is the worst of the worst you can possibly get. I knew the rest of my life was gonna be miserable and basically depressing, so I tried to take as long as possible and enjoy my time when people didn't know I'm quirkles. She thankfully trusted my words and gave me some advice about not to think about the past since it already happened and to think about the present because that's the only thing we could change to something beautiful. Yeah, I showed her my dead body. LMAO. Well, we're here. Hope you have a good day. Stay out of trouble for your mom. She said with a small smile before kissing my forehead and ruffling my hair affectionately. I laughed while I gently pushed her hand off of my already messed up hair. Come on mom, I just combed it and you messed up my hard work. I said with a big smile on my face. Yeah, and you wish it was combed. So move along and stop stalling. I need to head to work. She gave me one last kiss before sighing and nudging me to get moving. I put on my backpack, which was still light as heck, and stepped out of the vehicle. You remember the way to your class, right? We learned it yesterday. We practiced it, right? She checked on me one last time when I nodded and closed the door, ending the conversation. Well, not just yet, because she pulled down the window and told me, why, 20,000 words baby, I'm built like that way. And the second word of the chapter goes to me. Alright, enough of your fame, back to the story. Well, not just yet, because she rolled down the window and told me goodbye before speeding off. Well, now what the fuck do I do? Well, I actually do know what to do. Cool. This situation literally feels like that one music video that goes like the world is so small, till it ain't. Yeah, you all know what it is, so don't act like you all don't. I'm watching you all. You all this, you all that. Goddamn, I'm becoming Western. Hold up, let me play some imaginary country music. I just chugged 2 beers, fucking my stepsis in my back for def 250. What? I'm definitely having perfectly normal 4-year-old internal thoughts like every other 4-year-old would have. Cough cough, cough said Hairball. Nah, what the fuck am I doing right now? Not cause literally, what is you doing, dog? Why are you asking me? You're the one who is doing this. Well, I can't believe you're accusing me of such treacherous acts. I'll have you know those are some very big accusations you're making, so I would be careful of what you say next or I'll make you do some very terrible things. Ha, see caught YOS LMAO, dies of wheezing so hard. Is that kid okay? He looks like he is having a seizure of the ground. Hey, are you good? A deep voice asks. I didn't even know I was on the ground laughing my ass off, probably physically shaking, so I instantly stopped laughing and got up and did what every other normal person would do and scream, behind you. Sounding scared. The guy whipped his head around and only saw a bird pooping on the sidewalk. I was surprised he didn't get whiplash from how quick he turned his head. I took my chance and ran away from the awkward situation, laughing to myself again. Oh my god, that was perfect. I have to do that again to somebody or even him again. I walked up to the front entrance of the school. I got the message on the overpass. Great song. A long drive back. Administration. I walked in casually and waved at the kid nearest to me who was my age, but an inch or two taller than me. I didn't recognize the face, so that relieved me cause they wouldn't ask me about my quirk since they didn't know if I haven't hit 4 yet or just didn't want to talk since they were nervous or whatever that called. socially awkward or something like that from what I've heard. I was always a bit shorter than average or basically everybody else, though of this age nobody really gave a crap about height till later in life. It sucked being short cause everything seemed so much bigger than you and things higher up were much harder to grab for me than other people. I knew later in life I was gonna be ridiculed for being short as people usually do it to make themselves feel better about their height. I couldn't blame them for it as people become more and more insecure when they get older. Though my height was the least of my worries, as being quirkles is the worst of the worst you can possibly get. I knew the rest of my life was gonna be miserable and basically depressing, so I tried to take as long as possible and enjoy my time when people didn't know I'm quirkles. I also knew that it wasn't gonna last long too, as people would know in the next maybe 10 minutes at least, and it scared me knowing that I would go to loving and cunt at work use this waste of space. I can imagine it from here, and it disgusted me because people would actually do that even though it's illegal, yet no one cares a bit. But it's not just a couple of people, it's basically the whole population of the world. It would be like once in a blue moon, which is almost never, where you find a person who doesn't care about quirks. I didn't even bother talking to anybody and walked through the crowd at the front desk and stepped to my first class, where I knew it was. I walked around campus, observing the architecture and rooms since I still had time. Nobody noticed a 4-year-old walking around campus looking clueless or just didn't care and let me be, as it wasn't their problem. I was glad people left me alone, since I like being alone and not having to exactly interact with people. It helped a lot of awkward situations bypass and not have to deal with, so I mentally thanked the people I walked past and only glanced at me and went on their merry way. I still had 20 minutes to kill off, and I just found a group of kids and adults following another adult who works here, as they noted off and told the kids and parents where everything is. I blended right in and stood at the back of the crowd unnoticed, but you're thinking, why are you in a group if you knew where everything is? Well, because walking around alone with no adult supervision will attract more suspicion and attention that I don't need. But if I'm in a group of kids and adults, I'll blend in and no one will bat an eye. Joker meme reference. I didn't have anywhere to go, so following this group seems the easiest way to go while acting like you should be there. The 20 minutes I had left were quickly wasted, and the bell rang and the kids had to go to their class. My class was number 108. I knew it was going to be on the ground floor. What am I thinking? There's only one level to this school. Gosh, I'm so weird sometimes. I craned my neck and peered at the door closest to me, and the number on it was 197. I sighed in relief, knowing I had to walk the entire campus to get to class, so that means I could waste time not being there, but if I'm late I would attract more attention to myself, so I decided to just do a slide jog and some running to get there a bit early. I was 5 minutes early to class and got in quietly and took the table that was the farthest back from the whiteboard in the seat closest to the door, so I could make a quick escape just in case people wanted to talk to me. Thankfully no one was at the table, nor did I see any backpacks in the chairs, so the table was empty for now. No one noticed me coming in and was busy talking to their friends from pre-K. I transferred to this school, which was basically my entire last year pre-K class, so I recognized everybody since I had a pretty good memory. Though a couple looked so different because of their quirks, mostly mutant quirks, or the effects from their quirk changed a couple things about them. My good friend Sabasa had grown 2 feet wide demon wings that were as big as him. He was a little chubby and an inch taller than me. He started learning how to fly when he was 3 and now could fly for 30 seconds straight before tiring out and falling down, and we with him. He was a nice kid. He was funny and enthusiastic, never got in trouble, and had all B's for grades, so he was doing pretty good with academics, so overall he was an angel even though he had demon wings. Ironic, I know, right? Tsubasa was talking with a new kid who could stretch his fingers, and I knew because he was showcasing it to him and I could see him from afar. He was grabbing pencils from a half-foot away from him, though he had limits to how far he could stretch, but also the farther he stretched the weaker his fingers were, so he couldn't grab heavy things from where he was. His fingers were wobbly and he was scrunching up his face in concentration to pick up the pencil and bring it back to him. He barely got it and let out a huge breath of air. Also his face was bright red, and I silently chuckled at that since he looked like he was constipated. I hung my head and laughed into my hands as it covered my lower face. Thankfully no one noticed me laughing as my hair covered the rest of my bare face. I soon recovered and I felt a pain in my chest and started feeling a bit angry. Oh, I'm jealous. Yep, I was jealous. Yes, of course, I was jealous. I feel like I have the right to be though. I don't have something that literally everybody else around me has, a fucking quirk. I was more than angry. I was pissed off that I was the one with no quirk, me out of all people. Like, what did I do to deserve this? I mean, all I did was call the fates 3 wrinkly old grandmas who should be giving me money and homemade cookies instead of ruining my life. PJO reference. I was quick to shove those thoughts to the back of my mind and I started to calm down as my heart rate spiked for a second. I was just observing the class and heard the door opening and many people rushing in, crowding my best friend, Kekun. Well, he's the famous type now. I wonder how that's gonna work, though not really, cause I can see it coming. The most popular kid in our grade is best friends with the quirkless loser. Yep, no way in hell, it's gonna hurt his reputation and he's gonna dump me. I wandered off into my own world, twirling my number 2 pencils in my wait, what? Since when did I grab this? I suddenly got a perfect plan that couldn't possibly go wrong. It was like those shows that hung a light bulb over your head and turned it on when they got an idea. Yeah, that's what it felt like. I could lie about me being quirkless and say I have an analyzing quirk because people would believe me since my analyzing is so good. People thought that was my quirk. OMG, I'm so smart, I thought as I flipped my imaginary long hair in slow motion like those TV drama shows my mom watches at night that I watch too when I am supposed to be asleep. But it's fine, as long as I go unnoticed. Then I quickly shut down the idea. Don't be like, OMG, that is such a good idea, why didn't you go with it? Shit, I don't even know why, but I knew in the end it wasn't gonna work out as I intended. I was somehow gonna get exposed by someone, but I didn't know who. But I knew it was better to say it now to get it over with and deal with the consequences later, as people are much worse later than now. Not cause someone gotta do this. Tag me in a story like this if you find one. I stopped pondering on random shit like having an internal argument about whether the chicken or egg came first. I saw Kekun smirking as he sat down in the chair next to me. I started the conversation first. Looks like someone is popular. Care to tell me what happened? I said smugly, knowing this might be the last time I could tease him without getting beat up. Yeah, actually I would love to tell you. So ever since I got my quirk, I visibly winced when he said that and got a bit jealous and then angry and then shoved the thoughts away. Everybody started praising me and complimenting me about how powerful my quirk is and that I would be a great hero one day. But when I got here, everybody went up to me and acted like we were the best of friends forever. I mean, I'm not complaining, but it's really ironic that once I get something everybody wants, they attach to me like a leech. When he finished, he also whispered the last part into my ears to not offend anyone paying attention to our conversation, which was basically the whole class. I nodded silently and had a smile on my face, trying not to laugh. I soon noticed Tsubasa and the new kid he was talking to were the first ones to claim the seats at the table we were sitting at, and everyone else looked mad and jealous that they got the seats. I mean, can't blame them too much, cause sitting with or being friends with the most popular person in our grade makes you one of the popular kids, which I did not want, but I didn't have to worry since I'm quirkless and my fame was gonna end very, very quick. Kekun was the first to speak, and unfortunately it was directed to me, and it was the one question I didn't want him to ask about. So now that's out the way, I wanna know what quirk you got, cause I bet it's not better than mine, as I'm gonna be the #1 hero. He said smugly and enthusiastically. Well, there's no doubt about that. I lost my smile and had a shallow look on my face, and his facade broke and we had a worried face on. Well, I don't know how to exactly say this without you literally blowing up, but I'm quirkless. I mumbled the last part and he didn't catch it, so he leaned in and cupped his ear expectantly. I heard one kid gasp from a table away. Shit, he fucking lip read that. What did he say? Some kid said to him expecting an answer, and I would be glad if he said it, but of course he didn't, and instead said, not telling you, he has too. The kid said, pointing to me with an emotionless face to confuse people. I rolled my eyes and flipped him off under the table before Kekun spoke up. What did you say? Didn't quite catch that. He whispered, trying to keep quiet, but everyone else was listening to our conversation and I knew I was fucked. I sighed and repeated what I said a bit louder to my dismay. I'm fudging quirkles. I caught myself before I cursed, and I was not disappointed by his reaction or by the class reaction. First, Kekken here was fucking speechless, flabbergasted, surprised, and confused as fuck. His jaw was wide open and he had wide eyes. He looks like the killer from Scream. I laughed so hard at his face, but I quickly stopped from looking at the class. Secondly, the class had the reactions I expected. First, 14 of the class had looks of disgust and were fake gagging. Secondly, 14 of the class were speechless because they lived in a life full of quirk people and never seen or probably heard of quirkless people. Thirdly, 14 of the people near me instantly began moving away in their chairs or just got up and walked away, staring at me like I was a disease. Lastly, 14 of the class broke into whispers, well, not whispers since they were not even trying to be quiet about it. He's quirkles. EW. I heard one kid say from my right. The only thing there was your greasy unwashed hair, unwashed dirty hands and fingernails and your dry-ass skelly legs. You look like a mutated lizard. The fuck you saying MG failed abortion, experiment gone wrong looking dumbass. Not sorry, get away from him or he'll spread his quirklessness. I heard a girl say in the corner of the class. I was tempted to grab a Germ-X bottle and throw hand sanitizer into her eyes since she was basically begging for it. And if I was quirkless I would kill myself, I heard another kid say. Well, you wouldn't be the first. I thought, laughing internally to myself. I could go on about every comment, but that'll take too long, so I chose the most common ones that I heard. I was hurt, mentally, but not as much as I thought it would be, though I wasn't that surprised as I expected it. I turned to Kekken after he got over the shock, told you mine was better, I said it as a joke, but he didn't find it funny, so there goes it route. What the fuck, he started, but I interrupted. Language. I criticized him just because I could at the moment. He got up out of his chair quickly and took a deep breath, ready to start screaming at me. Shit, shit's booted, go down. Somebody has to be recording this. I started to look around for the imaginary camera on the drama shows my mom watches at night. Come on, it has to be here somewhere. This is such good content, it's like 1 in a billion. I didn't find one, so I gave up and zoned back into the real world. Unfortunately, Kekken was waiting for me to pay attention, so I had to hear the entire thing. What the fudge, he repeated / screamed in front of the entire class. At least he didn't curse. What about our promise? We were going to be heroes together. Me and you, why? You're just gonna give up on me like that, huh? He stopped his rant there, obviously pissed off. Yes, that promise. We pinky promised that we would be heroes together, him being number 1 and me being number 2, or as a sidekick since he's just so much better than me. I mean, I wouldn't complain because I didn't want fame nor popularity. I wanted to be a hero, just unknown, because I still want to live a normal life without being crowded around by fans getting autographs or pictures, but not everyone wants what I want. I was now pissed off because he decided to go off about how I was the one to ruin the promise and not live to it, and how it was my fault that I was quirkles and we couldn't be heroes together. I then got up from my chair and began arguing with Kekken. How the hell are you going to argue that it's my fault that we couldn't be heroes? Just because I'm quirkles doesn't mean shit. Remember that time where we got in the middle of a villain attack and I was the one to save both of our asses and you didn't do jack shit, and I was treating quirkles and took down the villain by myself while you were fucking held hostage and we both made it out alive and you were fucking ungrateful. I saved your pathetic ass and you were basically shitting your pants. Do you not know how fucking hard it would be for even a fucking pro hero with a hostage? They probably wouldn't be able to do that with minimal casualties and property damage and without someone dying for time, Saka. I did it all with 3 wild quirkles, and you have the fucking audacity to tell me that I can't be a hero, and I did it better than a pro hero could. And ever since you got that quirky, your ego has grown a million, and even then it was bad, and now you're looking at me like I'm crazy. But you know damn well all I just said is true, but with all the praising and compliments you fucking refuse to believe it since you're better in all aspects and I'm worse in all aspects. I finished yelling at him. Time. That felt amazing to vent. I should do that more. It felt like a huge weight weighing me down, lifted off of my body, because I wanted to say it so badly but never had the chance till now. Slay Zook, you don't miss, Slay Queen. You ate and left no crumbs. Kekin was speechless and was gaping at me since I was supposed to be the rational, calm, nice guy, but I switched up out of nowhere and goddamn was he surprised. I thought the argument was done since he closed his mouth and didn't say anything back, so I went to sit in my chair, but he decided to say something, probably because he got embarrassed and couldn't let me win the argument as it would hurt his ego/popularity. You're just jealous that I have a quirk and you don't. All you can do is talk and talk, but you know you can't beat me in a real fight. You're just a quirkles. Use this dig. I stopped moving and gripped the chair, making my knuckles turn white momentarily before releasing my death grip on it. I was hanging my head so nobody in front of me, which was the entire class, could see my eyes, and yes, I was crying. This bitch. I turned on my heel facing Kekin, but was still hanging my head so he couldn't see my face, but he still could see tears fall from my face freely. Is Dick really crying? He taunted me, while shaking his fists around his eyes to express fake crying. Why don't you just sit down in your chair before you do anything that you'd regret? And before I make you my quirk dummy, he said, smirking, while using his quirk threateningly. His face said it all. He knew that what he said hit a nerve, but he didn't know what nerve. I looked up with my best stare, which was pretty good by the way. He saw it and stopped his quirk, and his eyes widened, was scared, but quickly put on a facade to look confident and unthreatened, but this time his eyes showed it all. I stood there with my hands closed into a fist, clenched tightly, ready to throw hands. I walked up to him about half a foot away and decided to provoke him to start a fight, so it counted as self-defense on my part. Throw the first punch, I said, but he was hesitant and didn't do it, so I went deeper. Do it. What are you, scared? Make me your quirk dummy. Come on, I don't got all day, I said, knowing that he had to do it so he didn't look like a pussy in front of everyone else. Well, thankfully he did as I expected him to. It was a right hook aimed at my head, so I ducked, leaned forward and absolutely gutted his ass in the liver. He coughed and choked on his spit in surprise and beamed down in intense pain, so I took the chance to stand upright, grabbed his head with both of my hands and knee him right in the nose, I think breaking it in the process, but it was now bloody. Now he was bleeding from his nose and in intense pain in his liver, but of course I didn't stop there and just kicked him in the balls before grabbing the collar of his shirt and judo flipping him over my shoulder and onto that carpeted floor, which knocked his ass out unconscious. I mean, like, it's an underrated way of taking people down, since getting punched in the liver is extremely sensitive and people usually lean down in pain, so knee them in the face, kick them in the balls, and either throw them to the side with their shirt, or if you can, judo flipping their ass onto that ground. This was my idea that I thought through before, and I haven't seen or heard anyone do this, so I decided to implant it into this story, so credits to me, I guess. I zoned back into my surrounding to hear girls screaming their fucking heads off, like, why do people do that when people are fighting? Like, God, shut the fuck up. People gasping from shock and the rest talking to each other. I was ready to grab my number 2 pencil from the table and stab him in the hand or shoulder, but a random teacher came in and ruined everything. What? No, why is there a bleeding child that is unconscious laying on the ground? The teacher screamed at the class and the class just pointed at me. He did it. It was in the US. I heard a girl scream to clear their names. I mean, I wasn't too mad since I was the closest person to him and it was me who did it. I also saw everybody else not in agreement. He threw the first punch and I acted in self-defense to neutralize the threat towards me. And he threatened me that he was going to use his quirk on me. I pointed at him laying on the ground looking like an almost dead ragdoll. You can check the cameras for proof, I said, then pointing at the camera, praying to time that I could play audio, or I was basically fucked if I wasn't able to put most of the blame on him. The teacher looked fucking flabbergasted and soon recovered and then just said to some of the kids to bring Kekin to the nurse's office while I followed the teacher to the office. I sighed, annoyed that it wasn't even the first hour into school and I was already getting sent to the office for a fight. I followed the teacher throughout the hallways in silence before we finally made it to the principal's office. I was told to sit on the chairs next to another kid waiting there, too. I sat down next to him and asked why he was there. I set my table on fire on accident and stopped it quickly, but the teacher wasn't having it and sent me to the office. But I didn't want to go, so I talked back and she was mad at me, so I just left. Why are you here? You look like you're in kindergarten or something. Beat a kid up till he was unconscious, in self-defense of course, and he was sent to the nurse while I was sent here. Oh, and to answer your other question, I'm in kindergarten, I said in fake happiness. I looked up to see his reaction and it was priceless. I laughed and twirled my pencil in my hand, waiting for the principal to call us in and waiting for what he would say next. I got bored after he didn't say anything and started another conversation. So is your quirk fire-based, since I doubt you made a fire from another source other than your quirk? Oh yeah, I can make fire straight from my hands and sometimes accidentally light myself on fire on random parts of my body if I get nervous or scared. I'm immune to fire, so I don't have to worry about getting burned alive, he said, showing off his quirk. What's your quirk? It must be something good if you beat up a kid unconscious, he said, laughing to himself. I was hesitant to say it as I didn't want him to leave me for being quirkles, but I knew if I didn't, he was going to learn extremely soon, probably today or tomorrow. I'm actually quirkles. It's fine if I just leave you alone, so I said, but got caught off by the guy. No, you're perfectly fine, I really don't care about quirks. I find it quite stupid honestly how people just hate on people for their quirks or if they don't have one for your case, he said, surprising the fuck out of me since I expected to get the same reaction as ever. Wow, shit, thanks, I definitely didn't expect that, I said, laughing to myself. You're welcome, Izuka, I said, putting a hand out for a handshake. Joe, he shook my hand with a grin. You have manners, so I gotta respect that. Also, you beat up a kid, quirkles. God damn it, you don't even look hurt, he said, complimenting me on my skills and pointing at my body to show 0 bruises or any type of fighting going on. Yeah, he was my best friend, but after this I don't think we're going to be friends anymore, I said, and I hung my head sad that I lost my first friend over something that I couldn't control. Well, it was fun while it lasted. Hey, if he didn't like you for who you were and the second he knew you were quirkles and he stopped being your friend, shows he was never a good friend in the first place and was basically using you in a sense. So I think it's best to ignore and just not talk to him and to not be his friend anymore till he either learns his mistakes or until you feel like it's best to be able to somewhat trust him. But if you do decide to be his friend, don't give your secrets or real information about you, so like first to see if he's trustworthy, and if he isn't, it's best to not do it again, he said. I took the advice to heart and listened to every word carefully, knowing I probably won't see him again long enough to chat or have fun. Friends? He asked, and I nodded in response. The principal came out and asked Joe into the office for questioning. I just sat there waiting for my turn. I didn't know how long I sat in the chair, till Joe came out and the principal came out and brought me in. But before I came in, Joe told me that it was best to be honest and that he was understanding about quirks, so I didn't have to worry too much. As long as I didn't lie, as he would know somehow. I came in and sat in a chair that the principal pulled out for me for questioning. To keep it short, I answered all the questions honestly and had no trouble along the way, and he didn't care that I was quirkles, so that's a major plus in my opinion. In the end, I was able to lessen my suspension by quite a bit, but it was still a week total since I did get in a fight and put the kid into the nurse, or maybe even the hospital. Kekin had the same amount of time for suspension since he was the reason for all this happening, and since he could have just got over the fact that I was quirkles, but no one had to fight over it. There was no way if I was going to apologize to him. It's his problem if he couldn't get over it, not mine. The suspension also started today, so my mom had to come pick me up from her job not even an hour later from school, so she was pissed that I already caused trouble and got into a fight. I didn't bring my stuff with me, so I had to go back into the class and bring them back. I made it there and entered. The whole class was staring at me and whispering, and there was a different teacher from before, so I don't think she knew what happened. She didn't, so I ignored the stares and packed up and left quickly, and I made it back to the front of the school to find Mom there. Luckily there were no interruptions, but unfortunately Mom was mad as hell. We silently walked to the car, and when we got in, the conversation started. So what the hell happened? Not even an hour into school that made you get a week suspension and made me leave work to pick you up? Inko said angrily. I most definitely fucked up now. I screamed at myself internally. I got into a fight, I said nervously, wondering how this would play out. You got into a fight? With who? She said, already annoyed. Kekin, I said quickly. I heard her mutter under her breath. What the hell did you guys fight over? She asked, much calmer than before. I sighed and got ready to her knowing we fought over something so done. I told him that I was quirkless and I didn't take it lightly, so he began to get mad at me that I broke our pinky promise that we'd be heroes together, and I began to argue that me being quirkless didn't matter, and I gave solid evidence that he shoved to the side and didn't listen to because it apparently didn't matter. He decided to call me a dick, and I got pissed and told him to punch me so I could beat him up in self-defense, so I was the victim there, and I did just that in front of the entire class. I smiled at the last part in satisfaction. So you won? She asked about it. Yeah, I said excitedly. Okay then, I don't care. She stopped there because she didn't want to keep on talking. Wait, what? You don't care that I got into a fight? I asked incredulously. She sighed. Are you hurt? I shook my head, but as I said. Okay, all you got to do is apologize and make up for it, she said. Why do I have to apologize? He was the one that started it, I said, mad. Do you want to be in a lot of trouble when you get home and from school, or do you want to shut up and do what I say and get over it, she said, waiting for my response. I nodded. It was the easiest way out of trouble. All I have to do is say sorry and do some favors, and boom, I get away from beating up my best friend ruthlessly. No whooping, nothing. That's what I thought, she sassed, flipping her hair like the shows she watched dramatically. I laughed to myself and leaned back into my seat, getting comfortable. I can really get used to this, getting to beat up kids, and as long as I win, there will be basically no repercussions, but I can only do it rarely and if it's a good reason why I did it. My mind kept coming back to what Kevin said about me being a useless person. Well, I feel like he's wrong there, since quirks don't mean everything in life, but people make it like that, and it's honestly stupid. Like, come on, just because you have an amazing powerful quirk doesn't mean you should be a hero. Not everything should be based on quirks, because I've seen some weak quirks, as people would say, be used better than people with powerful quirks, because those people were actually smart and knew the full ability to it, and they used it to their advantage to learn new moves and ways to either help or defend people. I feel like that's where everybody gets it wrong there. People have been taught that quirks were everything at a very young age, and anybody with bad or no quirks are useless and waste of time. But here's the thing, there should be no weak or powerful quirks, because every quirk is different in their own way and all have different purposes. Long story short, big, flashy, powerful quirks, be a hero. Amazing quirks, you're so cool. Long story short, small, unnoticeable, weak quirks or no quirk, you are not going to be a hero. Useless, give up, don't try, no one cares. Yeah, that's a pretty good summary. Well, I regret making mom leave her job to pick me up from a fight, but I don't regret absolutely demolishing Kevin to the fucking ground. This is the end of the video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell.